I'm not feeling too well. Been drinking too much. Ah, oh, give me beer. Oh, so thirsty, so thirsty all the time. Give me beer, beer. Oh, glug 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 glug. Oh yeah. That's some good beer here. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling so much better. Can you give me more beer? Glug 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 glug. Ah, oh yeah. I'm feeling so good. So welcome to the stream. I'm a little bit hurt here because of Halloween and shit. So excuse me if I'm a little bit messy. Whoa, it's been a wild night out there. So yeah, wee. All right, let's stop being silly. That was a stupid fucking start, but I had to because we've been celebrating Halloween, and this beautiful guy has been part of our party. Let me tell you a story about related to that. So, Mrs. and daughter and other people were doing this kind of a Halloween themed theater play, pop up theater, which means that they had these cool kind of a Frankenstein theme, but with a Finnish twist. The local mansion where it says it's to be haunted and all. So they got some nice props, and actually, this head, among some other limbs like arms, legs, all bloody, gory, even heavily gory upper part of the body, without the head. And they had these props. These are, I think, American made by a pro corporation who does these or which does these for films like horror films or whatever crime things. So I just had to borrow one of these heads because we had these as decorations for Halloween party tonight with kids and everybody running along. So this fella wanted to pay a visit. All right. Because we're doing Rauta's race to 20,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do a few giveaways today. Meaning I have 3 surprise CDs here, which I will give away tonight. The first one I will give very, very quickly. The second one I will be giving once I'm done with my first beer. I have 3 tonight. And third one, let's just do it later in the stream. But the first one I want to give to you who are here early in the stream. I want to reward you people that came here early because you're the true fans who spent some time chit chatting with me, asking me stupid questions, maybe even smart ones, and all that stuff. But without further ado, let's open beer. These beers I have tonight, 3, are all from Masis brewery, a Finnish metalhead brewery who do great stuff. I've been drinking their beers for past few months during the streams. You might have noticed this one is Amazing Hides, and it's barley wine. Crazy because it's 11%, so it's gonna get me drunk, maybe. Well, sort of. So once I'm done with this beer, which might take a while, I'm gonna do a giveaway for the second CD. So let's start with one around 15 minutes marker. So 11 minutes, and I'll do first giveaway. So happy. Oh, by the way, this is the color of the beer. Quite the brown take. And these are outdoor chilled. So not exactly super chill, not exactly warm. Pretty much something that you would have in a refrigerator. So few centigrades. This is actually pretty goddamn good. And tell me this one. Tell you this one. Barley wines are not for everybody. They're kind of acquired taste because they're really high in alcohol. Their taste might be just too much, but I have had a few in my life and always been good. So
Happy All Hallows Eve, happy Halloween, happy Samheims, happy Kekri, happy whatever you are celebrating. But yeah, thank you for coming for the stream. There's one particular topic I want to talk about besides Rauta getting 20,000 subscribers during November. I mean, unless something really, really tragic happens, we're gonna hit the mark within a week or two. We're something like 1900, 940 or something. So only a few more subscribers needed, and we're gonna do it. And that's why I'm gonna celebrate by giving 3 CDs as giveaway for you people who are part of the stream. So once again, you know how it goes with the streams. I hope if you're a new one, I'm gonna explain. First of all, no donations are of course mandatory, but if you want to support a Rauta going on, you can do it with PayPal. I'm gonna give you the possibility. Or if you wanna, become Rauta's Patreon supporter, that's one way to do it. Because of course, it's cool to support your favorite, or not favorite maybe, but one of the YouTube channels you're watching. So I'm gonna just put these links right there. So in case you want to support long time run and get the benefits, here's one option. I'm just gonna type it. And if you want to, just support one go, you can do it, via this whatever super chat goes. Meaning you can just donate via just how the YouTube thing goes on. And if you want to donate with PayPal, you can just use this one here. But like I said, you don't have to donate a single dime. I'm not here for your money. I'm just in case you want to support the channel and all that stuff. And of course, you can send your greetings or whatever. And of course, if you want to tag me, make sure I get the message, like do it like this on the chat, tag at Rauta and say whatever you want. That will just highlight the comment, meaning I will be more easily see it. So I'm gonna create those people who used tag already first. So hello, Sadistic Väinämöinen. Welcome to the show. And I showed you already my beer. That's what we have here. And hello, John Rocks. How are you doing, man? How are things in Sweden? I hope not too cool, not too cold. And what about the others? Mothibi already said that this dead fella here looks like his neighbor. Damn. And Rob Hellfire, so Wasp live last night. I've seen Wasp a few times. Great band, but not that great anymore live. But it's my favorite heavy metal band of all time. Sydney fucking Watson is asking, could I beat J-Dog in an arm wrestling contest? I don't know. I'm not a good arm wrestler, and I don't know how good he is arm wrestling. Arm wrestling is a skill thing, not just, about muscle size. I mean, I have relatively small, biceps, triceps. It's not really my forte. And I know he's a more bodybuilding guy. I'm more into powerlifting, but none of these bodybuilding or powerlifting, they don't really teach you the skill of arm wrestling. So I've seen really big guys losing to smaller guys in arm wrestling because it's a skill indeed. What else? Hello, Cecilia. Welcome here on the stream, as well as Lex Beltram. Yeah, Motibi, I know I'm aggressive when pouring beer because, I just wanted to get it. I've been waiting for like past 4 hours to get a beer. We had this, Halloween party at our home. We have like more than 10 kids, around a dozen of kids around here, some adults. And I've been waiting to get a beer for like, I don't know, since 5 p.m. or whatever. And now it's 11. Sydney, I'm not going to show them CDs. I'm just going to mention it when I'm doing the giveaway. I haven't even figured out what to ask, so maybe 6 minutes later, you'll know. I'll tell you, there's one metal CD and a couple of others which are not, and then I have a bunch of CDs for the next stream because by then we are over 20,000. Thank you, Tapani, for your donation. PayPal just, gave me a message, gave me a notification of your donation. Thank you very much. So, people, in case you're wondering why I am mentioning these, you can donate this, you can donate that, blah blah blah. Rauta. In case you're wondering how the money is used, I think I owe you an explanation. They're used for hotels and flights. That's pretty much of it for me and my cameraman. Wherever we go, and foreseeable future looks pretty nice. We have some nice amount of money for at least I think 2 trips for festival trips, but we are haven't yet decided where we will go in year 2025. The more we have money, the more we can do these trips. And why I'm mentioning that we do trips means we get to do more interviews. So by donating money for Rauta means you get more interviews. Very, very fucking simple. Because the content is always free for you to watch. I'm not gonna put my interviews behind a paywall. I want to make sure that everybody gets to see them on YouTube. As long as the channel remains on YouTube. Who knows when one day we're gonna get cancelled because I interviewed 2 sketchy or toxic bands. Thank you so much, John Sherrod. You donated big time. Thank you so much, people. You are really helping the channel with the donations. And like I said, the more we get to travel, and next year should be easier for us than this year. And this year was busy with Inferno, Beyond the Gates, Helsinki Metal Fest, and Steel Fest. Unfortunately, Helsinki Metal Fest, we didn't get any of the interviews. This year, we have some coming up, unless the bands decide to, cancel the last minute. But it's always a festival where I get to do most interviews. As you probably know, that's where most bands are. That's where it's easiest to just sit down with the bands and get the interviews done and all that stuff. So I'm hoping to work even harder next year, 2025. And I'm really happy that we're finally hitting the 20,000 subscriber mark. I know it's not much when you compare to bigger metal guys on YouTube. I mean, there is Boris T, way bigger. There's this Wyatt X, whatever, way bigger. There is Farvan, over 100,000 subscribers. Those are big. Rauta is medium size. But we're trying to, work our asses off. And why don't we say we, meaning me and my camera people? Usually it's just me and Arto, the cameraman. So my point here is, as cool it would be really, really big. For me, what matters more that I have a audience looking for these interviews. I don't really care that much about the subscriber numbers. I don't want to make this my day job. I just want to make sure that we get to do those interviews for you. And when we're not doing interviews, I hope to entertain you with these streams and retrospective videos, album reviews, and now we're doing this, or me, I'm doing this Finnish black metal series where I'm going to talk about the bands from the 90s and so forth. So I hope I will get to create more content for you despite whatever money, what amount of subscribers and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I hope to create you more content in year 2025. It's harder to create more content than what we're doing, but every cent that we get goes to the trips that we get to do those interviews, and next year is looking really, really nice. All right, a couple of minutes, and then I will do the first giveaway. Yeah. Rob Hellfire is saying Jerry would win run arm wrestle. I don't know, man. Who knows? Who knows? Who really cares? Okay, let's see other comments. Thank you, Sadistic Väinämöinen, for your donation indeed. And heija, terve, Meija. All right, guys, about 1 minute, and then I'm gonna do one giveaway. Talking about arm wrestling. 2 years ago, well, last year that is, at Steelfest, someone wanted to arm wrestle me with so bad. I actually had my arm aching after the first day because I've been arm wrestling so many times. And funny thing, I didn't lose a single arm wrestling session. And the people were buying me because I was arm wrestling and winning. Maybe they hoped that giving me more beer made me more drunk, which it did. and then they would beat me. But unfortunately, those guys were not strong enough or skilled enough to just beat me in the arm wrestling session. So yeah. Hard to say. Oh, I'm Sydney. Sydney, nice to hear that you got this arm wrestling contest with on a truck. An arm wrestling contest. Wow, that's cool. Sorry to hear about the death of your estranged son. And Sydney, I can't really comment whether Boris or Wyatt are good or not. I really don't watch their content. I've been seeing them a couple of times, but I know they're more popular, so they must be doing something right. I know that at least Farwan is good and he has interesting topics, but whatever. Other guys do what they want, and I do mine, and that's the thing. And thank you, XJS, for your comment about interviews being cool and blah blah blah. I hope to do more interviews. So now we're 60 minutes in. First giveaway goes here, and the question is, and the first who gets this right gets to win the first CD. Which year and month, to make it a little bit more harder, when Rauta was founded? This counts as when we did the first interviews. Which year and which month? The first correct answer gets the CD. So feel free to reply. Brian Mons is saying 2016 April. Incorrect. August 1701. Not exactly. John Rodox is saying 02 to 16. Nope. 2018 September. Nope. That was before 2018 September, but later than April 2016. August 2017 is a really, really good guess, but Rauta was before that. And here we have the winner, May 20th. No, that's wrong year. May 2017. That's the correct answer. So good questions, good answers. So first interview was done at Steelfest 2017. So May 2017 is correct. I was about to say that Nocturna got it right with 2016 May, but unfortunately that's wrong year, correct month. But Rodden Punks 999 says May 2017, which means he got the first correct answer. So congratulations. What you're getting is a non-metal release from Cold Spring Records, Wicked King Wicker. Unfortunately, this is not including the jewel case, so unfortunately, you have to go with the CD. It's worth something still. Just email me the details and all that stuff. Now, as I was mentioning, we had the second CD and in a giveaway when I'm done with the first beer. Not even halfway through, so it might take some time. So, Rotten Punks, just email me. I'm going to give you my address. Yeah, of course, Rotten Punks. I mean, it would be unfair for me to say you cannot participate because you don't live in Europe. Yeah, it cost me a little bit more money to send the CD to USA rather than Europe. But I mean, this has to be global, or otherwise this would be just unfair. And those who don't know, for example, what Patreon supporting means, John Jared Rocks is one of those, and means that on the highest tier, you get a monthly CD. Yeah, it costs a little bit more when you're supporting the channel, but you get monthly CDs and other things. So here it is. Like I said, the second giveaway will happen. Thank you so much for your donation, Brian. Big thank you as well. Like I said, all this money is put into good use. What I was saying is, it doesn't matter which country you're from. When I'm doing giveaways, you can be fucking Mars. Well, technically speaking, I couldn't send a CD to Mars, but I mean, it can be from America or South America or fucking Greenland, Antarctica, or China, Japan. I don't know. These giveaways have to be global, or otherwise it would be fucking unfair. And I hope to email this within a few days. Hopefully, I will pack them not tonight because I'm going to bed after this stream anyway, but hopefully tomorrow or Monday. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna just read it with the comments, and once again, tag my name if you want to make sure I get to answer, because I see those highlighted when you tag the name. It's not about like mention my name because it's so fucking cool. No, it's mention my name so the screen pops up in a little bit different color. If you don't tag my name and you ask a question and this comment box goes blah 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 high up, I just might miss it. If you don't care, I'm gonna miss your question. It's fine. But if you may not want to make sure that I got to answer your question, please mention my name here. All right, I'm gonna try to keep track here with the comment section before I get to talk about topics like Halloween, Rauta 20,000. What does this step mean for us? There are gonna be some changes for year 2025 when we are there. I'm going to talk about that. And then there was a really, really good question a few days ago from a follower. I don't know which country this person is from, but this person asked me a really good question about why Finland is so filled with metal bands. I mean, if you probably know, you people, Finland has the most metal bands per capita. That is, it's not like we have as many bands, say that countries like Germany or United States of America, but per capita we have the most in the world. And there are other parts of like which are pretty similar, like Sweden and Norway too. So I am thinking it's more about like a Nordic thing rather than a Finnish thing. But let's talk about that in a little bit later. I'm gonna just read your comments and sip my beer, so we get some point we get to do the other giveaway. Brian Mons, thank you so much for your words about being humble and true. I don't know, true or not, I don't really give a fuck. I am just being honest here. I don't fake. I don't play roles. I mean, when I do Martti, that's a role thing, obviously. But other than that, this is just me. I mean, if you see me at a festival, you will get to see this motherfucking ugly face with my silly talks and opinions. Yes, I have way too many opinions. Yes, I have way too many strong opinions, which some people don't like at all. And it's fucking fine. I mean, I don't expect you to agree with everything I say. Not even most, not maybe anything. I'm just me, and it's cool if you and me can get to agree about like certain things about metal or certain bands, but really, it doesn't really fucking matter. And when it comes to about being correct or being wrong and all that stuff, I'm often very fucking wrong about very many things, and it's fucking fine as well, because that's a part of being a learning process. When I'm wrong about certain things, so let's say I make a statement about this and that, and some people are, hey, you're incorrect, you don't know jack shit about that. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I get to your source and blah 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 proof, and I'm like, okay, I am corrected. And it's fine. It makes me learn. So yeah, this is what you get. And no fake, no bullshit. If that, being honest and genuine means true, then I'm true. If it doesn't, well, fuck it. I can't be anything else but me. But this is me, and I hope that more people in metal would be really genuine and honest. No bullshit, no posing, no playing a role, no wannabes. I mean, like what you want. That's like the first fucking thing. Be yourself, because you cannot be anybody else. So I mean, why fucking even bother? Don't go for that. Mention 3 songs of that given album or band. Fuck, I've been listening to B Hickson for like, say, more than 20 years, and I still can't fucking, I still don't remember most of their song names. Oh, by the way, thank you, Ronan Punks. I got your email about your address and all. I will check it out later. Not during the stream, but thank you so much. So anyway, I was saying like if you like bands that some people are saying like, hey, that's not cool to like this. So fucking what? If you like metalcore and people are giving you a hard time for that, fuck them. If you like new metal and we're like, ha, new metal sucks, man. So what? It's your fucking thing. If you like black metal bands that everybody else is like, what the fuck are you listening to? That's bullshit. So fucking what? If you like death metal, doom metal, trash metal, fucking gent man, progressive metal, power metal, not fucking metal at all. So fucking what? It's your thing. So keep it you fucking true, man. Young, old, girl, guy, non-binary. I don't give a fuck. Be yourself, and if that makes you an annoying asshole, then be an annoying asshole. I mean, my advice is always don't be an annoying asshole, but I mean, if that's your thing, man. So there's that. I'm gonna ramble tonight a lot. Yeah, I know this is my style. I know, no, there are lots of people who cannot stand it. I talk too much. I have too many opinions, and blah blah blah. But I'm in a fucking good mood, man. You can probably see it because we just had this Halloween party. I'm kind of relieved it's over. I have beer. I have this thing to celebrate. Rauta becoming 20,000 subscribers soon. I have you people here making these questions, and I'm happy to do a little bit of giveaway because I have these extra CDs. So yeah, let's make it a positive thing, really. All right, let's get moving on with more questions and all that stuff. Sorry if you're delayed with my comments and all that stuff. Please bear with me. 11 is asking me, do I like watching horror movies at Halloween? No, really, because most horror movies bore the shit out of me. I mean, I kind of want to like them, but then again, I end up finding them more boring because I most of the time end up siding with the bad guy, the villain of the horror movie, which kind of makes the horror movie lose the point. But there are a few cool horror movies which I like, but I don't have this like watching horror movies, during Halloween or watching Die Hard movies during Christmas or whatever. I actually finished all the Die Hard movies just now, recently. Like this week, yesterday, I finished Die Hard 5. Wasn't a good movie. All the other Die Hard movies are good or at least decent, but Die Hard 5. Anyway. Sydney is saying Rauta is one of the best YouTube metal channels. Thank you so much, Sydney. I do my best. I don't know if I aim to be the best. I don't have that kind of a, how to say, it's not enthusiasm, but I mean, like, I don't aim to be the best. I just aim to do what I can do. And if it was up to me, I would deliver you interviews every fucking week. Unfortunately, not money and time wise, we're not there. Maybe someday we are, but not this year. All right. Oldhammer is hoping that OnlyFans Rauta content is coming soon. Well, me giving a wank, not likely to happen because it would be fucking boring to watch. Yes, Sydney, Metal Threat in the US 2025 is fucking cool, but that would, just destroy most of our budget. And there are lots of Finnish bands, which makes no sense for a Finnish people like me and my cameraman to travel to the United States to see more Finnish bands. But I mean, the festival itself looks pretty fucking cool. So, yeah. Rob Helfer, who is Savior of Metal? That sounds like a weird fucking title, man. Johnson Rocks ordered 51 LP records the other day. Is that too much? No, man, it's not too much for you. You're a true metalhead, and I like that you have the passion and enthusiasm. So that's great. Autumn Leaves is asking if I have been into Resurrection Fest in Spain. Unfortunately, no. I mean, it looks cool, and I mean, I lived in Spain for a few months a year ago, but unfortunately, it didn't happen when I was living there. I mean, Resurrection Fest is something like June or July, and I was out of Spain by May at Steelfest. But I mean, it would be really cool. I had this talk about Resurrection Fest when I was in Norway a couple of years ago in a fucking train, man, with some random people talking about like how Resurrection Fest is cool and all. So I hope to be there someday. So yeah. Cecilia Taylor is asking a good question. Should metal bands do something other than beer and wine? I mean, why not? Sneakers? Not likely. But I think some stoner bands could do weed. I'm not even joking. And of course, some bands could do whiskey. If I got to choose, make some beverage for my own band, Nightside, I think some kind of a Islay whiskey, smoky and peaty, would fucking rock, man. So, I mean, why not? All right, then there we have a lot of comments in the, I mean, the comment section. There's lots of those guesses about when Rauta was founded, and Brian Mons was so close with his guess. The next, I think the next question has to be related something to Rauta's history, also because you made some good answers right there. So let's get to that when I'm done with the first beer. All right, all right. Agent Ropo Cocky asking like if I would review Pagan Blackmail Project if I say if you send me a demo tape. Yes, I will. Um, to review something, I expect a physical copy. I'm old school like that, and also there's something to unbox, unsleeve, show you on the video. So I am at the moment I'm still saying no to digital copies, but for physical, sure. Oh yeah, yeah. Now Sadistic Random is asking how do I like this beer? Is this even good? So to mention what I'm having here is this amazing Heights barley wine from Masis brewery from Helsinki, Finland. So small brewery from Finland doing beer for metalheads. You will see later on. I have a couple of ones beers of outside there. Sorry for the zoom not properly, zooming to the text. Zoom is like I don't fucking know what to do here, so bear with me. Maybe you can now read at least something. So the thing here is with barley wines, they are strong, but they're not overly hoppy, meaning like they're not like IPAs and whatnot, and they're not like sour beers, so they're not like sour or sweet. Uh, in a way, they have, in my opinion, a lot to do with the the kind of cloister beers. Like what the monks do in places like Belgium or I don't know, fucking Germany. So strong, not exactly wine in terms of taste, but when it comes to the strength, the amount of alcohol, like 11%. That's like twice the amount of a typical beer, and more than twice. And as such, these are not something that you just like drink, like, oh man, I need my lagers, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you have ever seen him when he was wrestling, he would take a couple of beers and like smash the beer cans together and like, you don't really drink barley wine like that. Or if you do, you probably end up vomiting. So this is pretty cool. There's a little bit of sweetness. I think lots of maltiness, like being actually tasting like beer, but not like thin or watery like Pilsner or lager beers, but more like that maltiness, that malt with the kind of a cloister beer thing. If that helps you figure out what this is like. So not for everybody, and I think this is more like a slow drinking beer. And I'm kind of a slow drinker, usually. I can drink fast and end up drunk and vomit and pass out, just like the rest of the guys. But I can still, I would say, stomach, quite a bit of alcohol, especially if you meet me at, festivals and all that stuff. I can pretty much drink all day, just slowly, moderately, having coffee and water and eating enough, and I will still never be that much drunk. But sometimes, like that last year at Steelfest when I was doing the arm wrestling one, I had already done my interviews for the day or whatever, and I got free booze. You know what happens to a Finnish person like me when we get free booze? Doesn't matter if you're like a big guy, because when you get free booze, then you're like, oh man, that's right. Some of you might have me a little bit tipsy, somewhat drunk on these streams. Why? Because sometimes I end up doing like, say, 3 hours of a stream and I have a whiskey here. You know how it goes. You end up being tipsy. You end up being drunk and all that shit. So, yeah. But this is pretty good. It's just not for everybody. But that's what barley wines are like. Barley ones are like some doom death metal bands. Like most people are like, that's not proper death metal. That's not proper doom. And then you're like with your friend, oh, I like barley wine. Oh! And you're like, dude, sober the fuck up. Take some beer. Look. And you're like, oh, right, very good. All right, joking aside. So, old Hammeris living in Antarctica, can I still participate? Of course you can. Yeah, Cecilia Taylor is making the obvious. Mars would require more postage. I'm sure that by that point, when someone following Rauta streams live in Mars, Elon Musk would come in and fund the posting. All right. Mm. Nocturne is making interesting comment about, even though not replying to me, but about like saying like Wyatt and Boris, uh, for lack of a better word, normalizing black metal with his blogs. That is an interesting take, and I can kind of understand. One thing that really puts people into different camps is gatekeeping. One of my favorite subjects, and why? Because in my opinion, while I do think music is for everybody, I am also thinking gatekeeping is a fucking necessity. A necessity. And why so is because, well, let's be honest about it. Be true to yourself. Look at the mirror if you need to. Do you want everybody, including your mom and grandma, granddad, your weird fucking uncle, do you really want them to understand metal music like what's it giving to you as an underground enthusiast? Don't think about like now they're giving us venues where to play metal, and like they're like understanding finally what my band shirts are all about. But like, ask yourself, do you really fucking want that everybody from your kindergarten to your fucking grandparents and everybody beyond is like, hey, black metal is fucking normal, listening to metal of death fucking normal, like, hey, let's give you a fucking hug, man, because you also like obituary, because you also like fucking D-side and Dark Throne and whatnot. I mean, let's be honest about it. Part of the fucking charm being a part of metal community. Doesn't matter if you go even for subgenres. It's like, I don't want to be part of metal community. I don't want to be a part of even fucking black metal community. I want to go full fucking underground. I don't need nobody to give me hints what to listen to and whatnot. I don't even fucking follow your fucking YouTube fucking shit. Yeah, that's a exaggerated take, but you know what I'm talking about. My point here is, yeah, sure. We have a lot of people. I know a lot of people in Finland who don't like fucking scenes. They don't like fucking normalizing anything. They don't give a shit. For example, what I do with my channel, and we can still be friends and all that stuff. And there are plenty of bands who are like saying "fuck you" to your normal everyday mothers and sisters, metal blogs and metal fests and events and shit like that, and they're amused when a band go fest or people or blog or media or whatever go canceling sketchy bands. Let's be honest about it. One thing that is really charming to us, the part of the charm here is that we get to be part of something that is not part of normal society, that we are proud to wear these shirts and patches and albums in our collections which are not being normalized or accepted by the guy next to you. There is a thing with this kind of music, and I'll be the first one to say it out loud, but I mean, we take some kind of pride that we are part of this so-called underground movement. I say so-called because it's not really underground. It's not really like that limited. After all, we have all this information online. We have the metal archive sites. We have the Bandcamp sites. We have bands on Facebook, even if they're small timers. It's not like you have to go dig some weird underweb things in order to, like dark web, in order you to find about information about certain bands. But let's be also honest about it. This kind of a scene, when we're not talking about mainstream metal, it's full of weird fucking personalities. It's full of weird fucking lyrics. It's full of weird fucking statements. And we fucking love it. When you go to see a band that is not known for most people out there, we take pride that we are there. We're not talking about the Metallicas and Iron Maidens and Judas Priests or Rammsteins. Don't get me wrong. I do fucking love Metallica. I do like it fucking love Rammstein. I also fucking love a lot of those underground black metal bands, which most people have never even heard of. And I for one, I take certain pride that I still review a lot of those bands most people don't give a fuck. They don't even watch the review because, hey, I've never seen this band. I don't even know the name. I'm not gonna watch that video because I don't know the name. Why should I fucking care? I go for underground bands like Horno, Satanic Warmaster. Like, good for you, my friend. But there are bands that are way smaller, and these bands might be worth your time if you only knew. So we take a lot of pride that we dig into the world most people don't have a fucking clue. And if you need a fucking weird um, analog about it, think like Harry Potter. Now you're going to go weird places, but bear with me. My point here is with Harry Potter movies, they call the normal people. They like they're the normal people. They're the boring kind. I don't even remember what's the word for these normal people, but they take pride in their wizardship. Being witches and wizards and whatever. It's the kind of a elitistic take that you know something that most people don't. You read about these bands and you go see these bands where no normal people, the normies, don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. So even though if you just participate in your normal barbecue parties with your friends and families and whatnot, and you are the normal guy, they don't see anything odd about you except that weird fucking logos on your shirts. But your real friends in the metal scene know what you're up to. They know that you listen to these real cool bands with some weird lyrics. Maybe they are oddly weird about topics like Satanism or the occult or just outright anti religious and all that stuff. The normal people will never fucking understand. They would be like, why are you listening to such hostile music? Why are you listening to this aggressive music? Why are you reading these lyrics? They are evil. They're dark. They're fucked up. And you're like, I know, my friend. And that's exactly why I like them. So we take a little bit pride about knowing about this world that is kind of like unseen to the majority out there. And you all know it in your hearts. I mean, if you are not one of those people, you're probably not even watching the channel. You're not probably watching the stream here. So I am a kind of a preaching to the choir. I'm saying, pat yourself on your back. You know, take pride what you do, or don't take. I don't give a fuck really. But I'm saying like this is the really thing that kind of connects us. Whether you live in the United States, I live in Finland, or you live in a fucking Germany or you're Japan or whatever, we still have this connection. We might not even know one another. We don't know each other by name or fame or anything like that. But we do know that we would go to a certain festivals. We're like, fuck, this is the kind of a music I signed up for. This is the mentality. This is the kind of a scene. This is the thing I want to be part of. Why? Because the music, because the people, because the culture, because the whole atmosphere is something that is not present in the more mainstream ways. We all know it in our hearts. So I don't know if there's much to really add to that, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, always ask me. Um, to answer your questions, Sydney is asking if I think Metal Threat 2025 is going to happen, or do I think a lot of bands will drop out that be able to get into the United States? Well, I most certainly think there is a high risk that certain bands are not, getting green carded. They don't got the work permits and they might be turned back when they land in the United States. I think the festival is likely to happen, but will it happen with the given lineup? Well, all I can say is I hope the bands are smarter than some of the previous ones that got turned back right away when they landed in the United States. But I guess we'll have to see because each band makes their own individual mistakes. Cecilia Taylor mentioned that Deftones has released a non-alcoholic beer. Thoughts? Well, there are Finnish band that also released a non-alcoholic beer. I don't know if it makes much of a sense, but I mean, yeah, some people do. I don't think it's a really that smart one, but hey, to each their own. If they want to do a non-alcoholic beer or decaffeinated coffee, why should I care? I mean, you do what you do. Nocturna is asking me if I think a man can hit a woman if he is getting attacked by her. Of course he can. I mean, it's called self-defense, man. And I've been training self-defense for a long time. And I've also trained women in self-defense. So no matter what the gender is, if you're getting attacked, you're supposed to defend yourself. Pretty much fucking no-brainer if you ask me. Brian Mons is trying to decide whether or not to go for another beer. I would say go for another beer. Sydney, what does it mean? Drank for loco. Ernom is asking what I do for a living. I do for a living PR, mostly for tech stuff and also video gaming. So during my day job, it means that I get to promote a lot of things. That's on the other side of table where I do take place as a review guy. Meaning, when I have my day job, I send little letters. Would you like to review this and that game or device? And then I know how the press reacts. When I'm doing my stuff as Rauta, I get to see the same thing. The PR people are trying to convince me, should I review this or that? So that's what helps me to understand the world, how it works on both sides of the table regarding PR, promotion, and all that stuff. Nick Geary is asking thoughts on Finnish being considered as Asians on poll. I don't know what if Finns are being considered Asians. Sounds fucking weird. All right, so I'm still lagging behind your comments. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't show time tags here, so I'm just reading your comments as they come in. So sorry for that. Hello, Mike the Psych. Cecilia Taylor, why would you be annoying? You're not being annoying. Thank you, Bo. I try to have a great channel here. Robbie's asking my opinion about death metal drummers being better than black metal. I think that's quite common because death metal tends to be a little bit more technical than black metal. I think black metal is often more straightforward. And for example, in my band, Nightside, we have a drummer who knows more styles than just, death metal, black metal, and all. I would say for any kind of a musician, be it vocalist, drummer, bass player, guitar player, explore different styles. Black metal drummers can be really fast, but they're not often that technical or creative with their given styles. Nico Makitalo is asking him if I inside information whether Rights of North is happening in 2025. Unfortunately, I don't have any information about it at the moment, but I can ask. And I hope that if it's happening, I get to do a preview video of that. Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, Nocturne is right about self-defense. Self-defense should happen whether or not you're a woman, man, non-binary. Cecilia Taylor, that one comment was related to OnlyFans content. I don't have OnlyFans, obviously. And Sadistic Vainamoinen, don't underestimate the power of some women. So, yeah, if a crazy woman attacks you, you're supposed to defend yourself. Permons is saying if Nightside has a beer, it got to be dark beer. Well, there are plenty of different dark beers. I would say it had to be a black IPA, but then again, some of our guys in the band don't really like anything else but lager. So, I don't know. Johnny Rocks has an Amormart whiskey. I hope it's from good because I do like Amormart, especially the old one, and I do like whiskey. Dukes B21 is asking, am I from Finland? The answer is yes. Thank you, Rob Hellfire, about being the best I hope to be. But then again, I don't give a fuck. Cecilia Turtle, never seen a cinnamon beer. Markus 616 is saying, jonkun täytyy kekri perkele. Yes, kekri, kekri. Kekri is basically a Finnish version of Halloween or all that stuff. Ginger Roxy is asking, what thoughts about the US elections? Well, I think it's going to be a fucking circus. And honestly, I hope that Trump doesn't win. Sydney is asking, if can Finnish people even get drunk? Well, trust me, we can. Yeah, Bo, digital format is cool when you're driving. I listen to, of course, digital music when I'm like at the gym and all. But I mean, for reviews, I want the physical copy. Lucas is asking, do you worship Satan? Worship you, Satan? I don't know if Satan worships me, but I don't worship anybody. Marco 616 is asking, strongest black metal scene, Finns, Norwegians, Greeks, Brazilians. Well, it's hard to say which scene is the strong. I mean, whether we're talking about, terms of good bands, people being more fanatic, that can be interpreted so many ways. Sadistic Animal is asking, how many beers do I need to vomit? It depends on the beer, of course, how strong they are and all that stuff. Mike the Psyche is asking, have I heard of Buckfast wine from UK? Unfortunately, Buckfast wine. No, I have. I don't really, follow the wine scene. Sadistic Venom is asking what I think about Dark Throne releasing an album next year. Well, two past Dark Thrones are among the worst of the albums they have done ever. I mean, Gold Lord and the two last Dark Thrones, the worst Dark Thrones so far. So I'm not really stoked about it. I mean, Dark Throne is my favorite black metal band of all times. Don't get me wrong, because I fucking love Under Hero Moon and Transylvanian Hunger, Panzerfaust, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, and some other ones they released early 2000s. Best track record for a black metal band ever, yet still also quite a big disappointment. And yes, Sydney, I agree that lack of gatekeeping ruined metal in the US. It's not just US, it's all around the world. So I think gatekeeping is very, very important, in my opinion. All right. I still see that now I'm reading about comments about gatekeeping, which are talking about, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. So, yeah. Slade Craven is saying that gatekeeping is in metal is a relatively new concept. I don't think it's a new one. I mean, more so, we didn't even have to think about gatekeeping back in the 90s. Why so? Because we were almost literally underground. I mean, nobody gave a shit about what we were doing. Back in the 90s, with the black metal scene, we were mostly hanging out with punk rock people. They were as anti establishment as we were, just for different reasons. But punk people and black metal people, we were like kind of a bonded, you know. They were like, fuck capitalism and fuck money and fuck corporation and all that stuff. And we were like, fuck churches and fuck the politicians also, just a little different ways. So gatekeeping wasn't kind of a needed or required back in the 90s because by very definition, when you were doing extreme metal, you are anti-establishment, like in general, you know. So my point here is, uh, we were anti a lot of things back in the days. And if you come from death metal department or trash metal background like me, I mean, it kind of a goes hand in hand, that punk and metal and being the anti this, anti that. So I mean, black metal wasn't as sexy back in the days as it's nowadays. I mean, nowadays when you go to see a black metal show, you will see like one third roughly are women. And I'm not saying they just like groupies. Surely there are groupies. Back in the 90s, could you imagine women being groupies? You know, it was like it was so funny that it actually makes me laugh. Black metal wasn't sexy. Now you see black metal bands being big, and you don't just have to talk about the big bands like Behemoth or Dimmu Borgir or Cradle of Filth or Satyricon. But back in the 90s, the bands were small. And when we were crusading against, you know, Christianity and religions in general, we were as unsexy as fuck. We were seen as this fucking weird group of people. So yeah, the gatekeeping, you know, there was no need for that. But already back in the 90s and say early 2000s, you had these talks about, are you true enough? Are you a poser? Are you fake? Whatever you are you want to be? So the question, the same kind of a conversation existed back in the days, but it wasn't considered as gatekeeping. The gatekeeping as term, as a word, is new, maybe, because nobody was talking about gatekeeping back in the 90s, as far as I can remember. But it kind of existed. I mean, if you're a poser, your ass was kicked. Like, get the fuck out of here! You don't belong in this scene. I remember being kind of a elitist prick back in the, I think this was early 2000s. It had to be say 2001 or so. I was selling my other band Annihilatus vinyl. I think could have been CD, but I think it was vinyl, maybe the 10-inch we did. And I wouldn't, you know, sell our vinyl to, first of all, gals. Why? Because I decided the women are not going to understand our war metal approach. Secondly, I wouldn't sell these to underage people because I figured they're way too immature, you know, to figure out, understand our music and style, lyrics, whatever. And I wouldn't sell my records to some Christian people. I wouldn't sell the religious people. You know, I would like, fuck you. Make me an elitist? I don't give a fuck. I still don't. Now I'm getting closer to 50 and I still have the same mentality. But of course, you know, Rauta is way more, I guess, relaxed. I don't have the elitist approach with Rauta. But then again, me as a person, I still do. And if someone is upset about what I say, what I do, it's fucking fine. I'm not gonna please everybody here. I'm not gonna make friends with Rauta, you know. I'm just gonna be myself. And if somebody doesn't fucking like it, it's fucking fine, man. I don't give a fuck. I don't need more friends, really. But I mean, I also don't say no to, you know, meeting cool people and meeting people who are like good in my books. I'm just saying the gatekeeping mentality is still here. It's not just that obvious nowadays. It's not that harsh as it used to be, but it's the same here, still happening. So if you don't like it, too bad, man. So yeah, like Rob Hellfire and I think Nocturna said, metal is not for everybody. Rammstein. Thoughts on Diabolical Full Moon? You mean a band called that, or or early Immortal album? Yeah, Nocturne and Harry Potter on a Rauta stream. I am totally lagging so much behind with my comments. Um, yeah, Marcus, we actually had Sex Trash interview last. I mean, this year. Yeah, Nocturne. I'm not actually Harry Potter fan, but I mean that world is in a way cool, like Star Wars or whatever. All right, let's move on with the comments. In case you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm browsing the comment section here. Um, Duke is talking about black metal band from Poland. I don't know if I know that one. Doesn't ring a bell. I don't know, Brian, if you missed that much. Just me rambling around. Yeah, Nocturne, the thing is, while we might not have anything against the normie people, it also means that we don't necessarily want to you know, um, be part of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I know plenty of cool normie people, and I know plenty of annoying metal people, but I still, draw the line, between certain aspects, and I don't really care if the normal people don't understand it and they don't accept that stuff, because it's not like I'm looking for their validation. I don't need to be validated by normal people, nor they do need to be validated by me. Hello, Rekkamiehen Pastili. That's a funny username you have. And hello to Uusikaupunki, the home of bands like Unhola and stuff. We actually played at Uusikaupunki a couple of times back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Nocturne, I agree. If a band is rejected from USA, means that it's trying to travel outside USA. It's fucking true. By the way, I'm pretty much done with the first beer. Like I said, I would take time. We're doing the stream for over 60 minutes. But like I mentioned, this is 11%. I can already feel a little bit like getting tipsy. But I think it's soon time for a second giveaway. And by the way, if you want to see Satanic War Master, just come to Finland. They play here often. Satanic War Master is like a household name in Finland, much like Horna. So if you cannot get it at Metal Threat, come to Finland or Europe. As Cecilia Taylor is saying it, hit the like button or Jerry will drink all of your beer and also get your ladies. Jerry has Rauta fans. I don't know if I have any fans. The fan thing is, by the way, one of those words that Finns don't really understand. We're like, we don't want to be fans. We don't have the American take on it. 11, I haven't heard a name Puna Terrori, but it really sounds like an Arabian band name. Duke, I don't know about you, but I use Spotify. When I'm driving, my car has its own Spotify app, and I'm listening to Spotify when I'm at the gym working out. So fuck yeah, I use Spotify on metal or not. I don't give a fuck. I think it would be more on metal to even think about it. Can I use Spotify? Fuck yeah, you can. Slade Craven, I gotta say, I don't know who Scott Steiner is. So yeah, hard to dress up like that, motherfucker, if I don't know who he is. Jack Harry is asking what's my opinion of best horror movie ever. The answer is The Thing. And Nightwish album Yesterwind, I actually reviewed a while back. When it came out, what it was like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Yeah, my Nightwish album review is out, but I think it's a good album. John Drury is asking if I have a Discogs page. Yes, I do, and I have also Rate Your Music page. Marcus, I totally understand if you don't have RABM or NSBM. I totally understand. Keep the politics out of black metal. Yeah, Rob Hellfire is like getting shocked because I'm saying I hope the Trump doesn't win. And Rob is now disappointed in me. Oh goodness, someone is disappointed in Jerry. Oh god damn it, what I will do? I get another fucking beer, man. Hello, Ivan. Happy Halloween. Well, Rob, I gotta say, back in the '90s, there were women, metal shows, but not so much. Maybe death metal, not really. Not even now. Trash metal, even less. Black metal, a few. But yeah, if you want to get groupies, make sure. Oh fuck! They turned off the lights. This is around the time when it's 15 past midnight. All the road, traffic lights, not traffic lights, but the fucking, well, the lights, they go down. Now it's literally fucking dead dark here in the countryside. So as I was saying, uh, extreme metal has never been this popular in a way. And nowadays, you actually see a lot of women in the audience. But go back in, say, 20 years, 15 maybe even. And back in the days, you really didn't see that much gals in the audience. So it was more like a fucking sausage soup. I mean, I don't mind. I don't give a fuck. Gals can be really fucking cool, man. Um, but at the same time, I kind of a feel it's different nowadays. Band members' girlfriends get into the audience, and it's almost like I don't know, kind of a family friendly thing. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I don't mind gals liking black metal or death metal or trash metal, but at the same time, I think I don't want to sound like a fucking sad boomer here. But then again, I also don't fucking give a fuck if I sound like a sad boomer here. But I think, in a way, the element of danger has been removed from the equation. You know, Nowadays, all these extreme metal style is so much more accepted, which is not that cool, really. Um, Hilo Belta is asking if I'm into vinyl, mostly seeing CDs shown. Yeah, that's because most bands send CDs. I have vinyl right here on the left side of myself, but I don't really buy vinyl that much. I mean, I do vinyl art and I like the format, but when it comes to uh, which format is the most easy to listen to. I would say, yeah, CD or just streaming service. But vinyl is fucking cool for, for example, reviewing, unslaving, unboxing it. So that takes the priority when I'm reviewing. Vinyl gets the top spot. Ivan Ooze is asking, what's my favorite Ween album? Ween. I don't know what you mean, really. Mothibi is asking, do I own any firearms? No, I don't. Owning a firearm in Finland is not exactly easy. Getting a gun license here in Finland, it's not easy. So, no, I don't have it. Yep, Rob Hellfire, I'm with you with the gatekeeping thing back in the 90s. I can totally understand. We were not that strict, but yeah, I get the mentality. I don't think gatekeeping is all done by keyboard warriors. But nowadays, really, if you want to gatekeep someone out, you have to make sketchy music. You have to make those extreme things. I think one nowadays, if you really want to gatekeep, metal music genre, you kind of have to go um, sketchy ways, be overly political, or just say something that is like people are gonna like, whoa, you don't talk about that kind of stuff. I don't know if you're too young generation, like overall, to remember the movie about Fight Club. Now, Fight Club movie had this one great thing is like the first rule of Fight Club is that you don't talk about Fight Club. It was supposed to be underground. Now, if you take that mentality into the world of metal, you would have to be like the number one rule is you don't talk about black metal, which means you only invite people who you like. I don't know. You analyze that given person. You figure out whether or not this person is okay to come into your fight club. You know what I'm talking about. So you don't really go advertising, hey, have you heard this and that album, and go posting it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And now you, of course, you're going to say, but you talk about it on YouTube. How can you say these things? I'm saying it because, if you want to really gatekeep someone, you got to go for, I don't know, fully NSBM, or you can go for Inquisition ways. And, talking about the sketchy topics once again. So if you don't want to make sure that most people are not really like okay to follow your music, you can go full sketchy. I am not saying you should, because for instance, I'm not into buying into that political black metal. I don't find NSPM like, wow, that's fucking cool, man, because I think that's ideology fucking sucks, man. And the same thing goes for RABM, when people are like, hey, what safe bands I can listen to? And then they're fucking Googling, reading fucking Reddit about what safe bands they can fucking, listen to. And they're like, hey, I can listen to Spectral Wound because they are like good music and they're not sketchy at all. Is it safe? Who the fuck wants a safe black metal band? You know what I'm talking about. So my point here is you don't have to really go into full Fight Club mode into, gatekeep a thing a little bit. But you also can be like, if you normies cannot fucking handle this and that, fuck you. We don't care. So it's a kind of a eggshell, walking on eggshells kind of thing. So I'm not gonna say that you should do this or that, because that kind of, in my opinion, it kind of violates the whole thing about being black metal. But then again, I'm not a fully black metal person myself. I listen to death metal. I listen to trash metal. And what's so funny about trash metal is that if you really think about it, thrash metal, by very fucking definition, is not even the kind of music style you even need to gatekeep. Yet you find less people finding their way into thrash metal than black metal, even though thrash metal would be more inclusive, which I find fucking ironic. Black metal is supposed to be the more toxic, the more sketchy subgenre by very fucking definition. And yet at the same time, more people go into black metal. While thrash metal, which is more inclusive, is like, what the fuck is happening here? You know? So I think a lot of people are pouring into the world of black metal because they find black metal sexy. They want to be the part of the extreme metal sense or style or scene or whatever because it's dangerous. It's, you know, I don't know. Um, I feel like a boomer here saying that people, if you really don't want us to feel the heat, stay the fuck out of the kitchen. Don't start complaining because you buy this big ass American muscle car, and then you're like, but it's not really green, man. You know, you cannot save the cake and eat the cake. You either eat the cake and you're like, okay, I'm gonna eat the fucking sketchy cake here called black metal. I'm gonna take it for all it has. It's sketchy, it's fucked up, it's fucking weird, it's fucking extreme, it's poisonous, it's toxic, but I'm gonna fucking swallow it. I know it's gonna destroy myself in the end. You know, the fully kind of like destroy yourself for Satan. And at the same time, people are ignoring these fucking red flags. They're like warning signs. Don't enter. You know, you're not supposed to be here. This is black metal. This is supposed to be fucking extreme metal. People are like, hey, I don't watch the fucking red flags. I just drive here. And then they end up in a fucking corridor, you know, with their car stuck in a fucking well. And they're like, oh, I ended up in the wrong fucking place. Crocodile is eating me alive. Why the fuck did you ignore all the fucking red flags, all the fucking warning signs? What the fuck is wrong with you? So it's almost like putting heroin in your veins and then saying like, hey, I didn't know. Nobody warned me the drugs are bad. Like, what the fuck, people? Like, what the fuck? Seriously. So there's that. I'm gonna do the giveaway in a very fucking quickly. Just read your comments here. Yes, Cecilia Trainer, they're turning out the lights in Finland because I live in a fucking countryside, not in a city. That's why. Ivanus, I don't know Ween, the band. Sorry. Uh, Guy Incognito is asking what I think about baby metal. I think baby metal is a fucking joke. Cecilia Taylor, I haven't read about Nightwish tour manager drama. I'm not that much into that. Maybe I need to do some stuff about recent news on Rauta and stuff, but lately I have been too busy and not too much into that. Yes, Marcus 616, we totally actually agree. If you want safe scene, black metal might not be for you. It's almost like, fuck you, I want some drugs, but I don't want to get the negative effects of being drugs. Duke is asking me, do I agree that hipsters are giving bad name for black metal to black metal? No, I don't think the hipsters get to do anything about black metal. So doesn't matter. Brian Mons, is good that you have 9% alcohol beverage because I had this 11 beer here. Cecilia, what band hates your mere existence? What is that band you're talking about? Genre rocks, exactly. Good music is good music. The genre is not important. Yeah, Rob Hellfire, what about Strapping Young Lad? 11, that's my point. If the music is good, you can get to listen to it and not give a fuck. All right, Ivan, nice to see you. I'll catch you later. Yeah, Cecilia, that's what I do with these streams, the TED Talks. Lucas, yeah, the Steelfest lineup is looking solid. Personally, there's quite a few bands I want to see, including Acheron and the like, and of course Absu another time, Zemial. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because we're also playing at Steelfest, and there are plenty of bands I want to see, plenty of bands I want to interview, and it's fucking cool to play there myself. Rob Hellfire, that's your take. I mean, I also think that politics should not be in the black metal, but then again, NSBM is just a branch of black metal, whether we like it or not. Zachary, I used to like Annette a lot. Taria is my least favorite, but Floor, I think she's most skilled. So yeah, Zachary, I hope that answered your question. I also was mentioning your name. Um, I also think that the previous male vocalist of the band was really fucking good. So, who's the number one vocalist, and not to mention the Mister vocalist? It's kind of weird, but yeah, of the female ones, Floor is my favorite. Yeah, Marcus Steelfest 25 is looking fucking good. Lucas, I totally agree with you. Exactly. Freedom and rebellion. Include politics. All right, dude. Um, Now that we previously, with the previous giveaway about an hour ago, I asked you about when Rauta was founded, and I was mentioning that among when the Rauta was founded with the first Steel Fest. Can you mention one band that is among the very first that Rauta got interviewed? Answer, and you might get this CD. I'm gonna get a new band. Well, that was a silly question. So quickly, Brian Mons, you got this CD. Please remind me of your address. Paratrum was not at the Steelfest. I'm gonna get another beer and flush my glass. I should have asked something more, I don't know, harder, but Brian Mons was right there. First of all, Asagram was one of the first bands I got to interview. But also, he mentioned Spellgoth. And by Spellgoth, I obviously know that he means baptism interview in 2017. So there is that. Impel Nazarene, I haven't even interviewed, but I have agreed with Mika Luttinen to do Impel Nazarene interview. But yeah, that was a quick one. Anyway, those who know. So fair enough. Let's make the last and third final giveaway for tonight when I'm done with this beer. This time I'm having Masis Brewery's West Coast Road Trip. This is India Pale Ale 6.3. I don't know if this is referring to West Coast in the United States, their highway number 1 or something like that. I wrote it back in 2013 with my girlfriend back then. And it's a fucking, phenomenal highway from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Fucking beautiful, fucking scenic route. If you ever go to drive a car in the United States for whatever reason, and you have the chance to drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles or from Los Angeles to San Francisco, fucking do it. I would love to do it again. It's a really, really wow. Probably the most beautiful road I've ever driven. You get to see, when I was driving from Los Angeles to San Francisco, on my left, I get to see, the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful. And the road was kind of a serpentine, down and up, and wow, really beautiful. So I don't know if this beer is referring to that particular West Coast road trip. Uh, but yeah, could be West Coast road trip. If you get to see that, do it. Yes, Gingerbread Rock, fast as a shark. A nice accept anecdote there. And Brian Mons, yeah, good prediction. So just send me your address. I'm not sure if I have it in my email, so just send it, and I will I will mail your CD. So two to go, two done, and one to go. And Brian is from Canada, so it's another big bummer for my postage thing. Yeah, Rob Hellfire, I get your point about wrong people attacking black metal, but at the same time, I feel like the gatekeeping is actually happening. So there's that. Duke, I only know Hammer, the band, by name, but I really don't know the band. I don't know the people. I don't know the music. So no take on that. And Zachary is commenting here. Yo, Marko Hietalan is fucking great vocalist. Yes, I really like Marko Hietala's style. Funny anecdote. A few years ago, he actually called me. That came from a number, which was not shown. He called me about some tech thingy. So it was really nice to have a phone call with him. And I was in the Canary fucking Islands at then. I never met him in person, so I can't say I know Marko Hietala myself, but he was a fucking great vocalist. I mean, still is. And thank you, Brian Mons. I got your email on notification here on my phone. iPhone rocks. Yeah, Brian Mons. Let's blame Trudeau for being on the top of that. All right. Now the one topic I wanted to talk to you about, along about oh, by the way, I'm gonna do this. Even you, me. So once again, reminding people, if you wanna fuck, no, if you wanna fuck, I was saying like, if you wanna donate, here it is, and if you wanna be Patreon supporter for Rauta, then you can do it here. 11 is asking what's my favorite newer video games. Well, Space Marine 2. Just finished it recently, and now I'm doing Hogwarts Legacy. And I'm not even a Harry Potter fan. I just like the mechanics, how playing a wizard is done. Yeah, Repelfire Vatan is doing well still, despite of the thing with their previous player getting booted out of the band. Doing the salute. Marduk is still doing fine, even though they had to boot a person out from the band doing the same. Anyway, the very question this one person asked me a few days ago was like, why Finland has so many metal bands? I think I have it in my calendar that was like, one thing I need to show you, people. I forgot to do it. Pardon for me that. Um, Before I get into the question, why Finland has so many metal bands, I need to unbox something. Why I need to do unboxing here on the stream, not review, is that Sulfur Aeon released his album earlier on, and I got to review it earlier on from CD. For some reason, the label Van Records sent me the LP as well, which features this nice looking sleeve. I'm showing you it's a sleeve, and inside the sleeve, uh, obviously, LP gatefold and LP. Oh fuck! This is also already damaged goods, as you can see. Dun, dun, dun. Why I'm doing it here is I wanted to review this LP for Rauta. Why I don't do it is because I reviewed early on 2024 on CD. So the least thing I can do is to show you and unsleeve this motherfucker uh, on stream, is because makes no sense for me to review one on the same album twice during the same year. So I decided to show you this LP for the given stream so that it makes at least some sort of a sense while I'm, showing this to the audience. I mean, they sent me the CD and the LP just a few months apart, and this comes with a very fucking new, cool cover that was present already on the CD version as well. But like I said, I promised to do this uh, unboxing. I promised it to myself to do this unboxing because, like I said, it's the least thing I can do for this label and this band, because this was sent to me a few months later after the CD was sent. Comes with a fucking nice poster if you like the band. This is full of details. As you can see, these guys here, oh, send some beer. And this is like, fuck you, no beer for you. This is the bartender. These are the audience, the people getting into a bar. They're like, hey, I want some cool IPA. I want some lager. Hey, what's happening here? And on the other side, the guys who are like, fuck this streamer, Jerry. He doesn't even know that we don't drink beer. And then finally, you have this cool booklet, which includes a download code, which I just magnificently dropped. This would be the download code. And it comes with a nice booklet. In case you're wondering whether or not getting Sulfur Aeon LP, now you know. Like I said, the review was posted already earlier in 2024, so I'm not going to do a new review out of the album because it's already out there. But the least I can do is show you the LP. So, your questions. Potato Man is asking me, am I familiar with Gigi und die braunen Stadtmusikanten or Stum 18? No, I'm not fun. Unfortunately not. Dukes is asking, what's my favorite black metal scene? This depends whether we're talking about music or the people. Different answers. Yeah, because it is very, very different whether we're talking about bands or people. So anyway, one person asked me a few days ago, why do Finland have so many metal bands per capita, that is most in the world. And my answer to that is there are so many bands in Sweden and Norway which have similar people per capita. I mean, if you go for metal archives and you just take the information, how many people per band or per country you have, Finland is probably the leading one still. Like how many bands we really have per capita. And my thinking is it can go in so many ways. First of all, if you take a look at the more warmer countries, like the one around Mediterranean, say Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, what others you have there? Well, of course, the African countries. I think people have other things to do than play metal. The northern you go, and the more you understand how the northern climate is, more likely you're like, okay, fuck you. I'm gonna stay inside. I'm gonna grab my guitar, like something I have, in the background, and you're gonna do some music. So the northern climate can be very, very inspirational for you to, really uh, just stay inside, but also make music. Now, you don't get to see what I see here. If I shut down all the lights here, you've probably seen it a few times before in my previous streams. If I were to shut down like all the lights, you know what happens? This is what happens. So this is exactly how much light we have here at the very moment. It's fully fucking dark, and it's barely beyond midnight. My point here is this can be very, very fucking inspirational time to grab your guitar or keyboard and just start making your own music because it's dark, it's cold, it's grim. It's not like you go chasing skirts, like, hey, let's go into fucking nightclubs, man. You gotta get some laid and all that stuff. You're probably gonna do some bedroom black metal riffs by yourself because what the fuck not? Because you're inspired by the very nature. There's the sea, there's the fucking forest, and yeah. So plenty of people, when you have the kind of a introvert thing going on, I'm not very social, so I want to make music. And you grab your guitar, you grab your keyboards or bass or whatever, and you start making music. So you have this warm season called summer, which lasts only maybe 3, 4 months. And the rest of the time is like, fuck you. Whereas suppose, say, you live in Los Angeles, United States, or the Mediterranean place, you have a pretty much nice go around, go outside kind of a weather, climate all around the year. Now you get my drift. Because you don't get to go outside that much. It's a very fucking cool reason to stay inside. And that's when the magic happens. The magic known as the music. Let's put some lights on. So my point here is, why do Nordic countries do so much metal music? Metal is often the music of darkness, of grimness, of being solitary man, solitary woman for that matter. So a lot of black metal, as you all know, comes from the Nordic hemisphere. Whether we're talking about US BM or European BM, a lot of those bands come from the Nordic countries. There's so much more black metal bands coming from, Norway, Sweden, Finland, even Germany, as opposed to say Italy, Spain, Portugal, Africa, or Middle East. Well, there's this thing going on that making metal is kind of illegal and can get you to untimely death. But even if you go as far as to say, um, South America, billions, not billions of people, but millions and millions of people, places like Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm including Mid America here as well. My point here is how come most metal is done in the northern hemisphere? That's my theory. People who are in the northern hemisphere, they have more time to stay inside, and they also find the music, more communicating, more collaborative with the, climate, the grimness. I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe I'm totally wrong here, but my point is, I think that's where it comes from. So when you don't have that much nice climate, you don't like, hey, let's go skating or I don't know, play metal. There's no like choosing between like, should we go surfing or should we write some riffs? And how it translates into music. I mean, we have so many hard rock bands around the world, which comes from nice places like Los Angeles or I don't know, New York, New Jersey, whatever. When you have the kind of a like, hey, let's go party. There's so many bars open. There's so many nightclubs. So much big city vibe. Why the places of all the places in the world comes from, you know, a distant location such as Finland has so many metal bands. I think it's the lack of these metropolitan cities. You know, we really don't have that much big places. Whole amount of Finland, less than 6 million people. You could squeeze it three times in, New York City alone. So how come places like Japan with its Tokyo, whatever, or United States of America with its, like New York or Los Angeles or Dallas or Chicago, San Francisco, how come they don't have as many bands playing metal? Because they're more like happy places. They probably want to play more pop music. And if you include the people who know how to make music, money with their music, they already realize metal is not the thing to go. It's not like Beyonce once upon a time was like, oh fuck, I want to write some grim black metal riffs. She was like, I want to do pop music, man. This is overly exaggerated. But you know what I'm talking about here. So I think that the location, geography, the climate, it all plays its role when you're figuring out what kind of music you want to play. It's not like we have rap music like hip hop big time in the Nordic countries. We do, of course, have that, but which country doesn't? When it comes to playing metal, it has to come from parts where you're like, I'm suffering because it's so fucking grim and cold and shit. So yeah, in my opinion, that's one of the things here. All right, reading your comments because I'm rambling too much. Rob Hellfire is saying medieval black metal is his favorite. They're rare by comparison to regular BM. Well, I get the uh, I don't know, popularity in medieval black metal because medieval black metal has a kind of a folky thing going on, and also it can be quite uplifting. It's not that dark and grim. For me, medieval black metal is overly too melodic and too happy, too uplifting. I am a happy fucking person, but that's because I embrace my inner darkness, and I don't know most of you will ever understand it. And I'm not gonna explain it to you. I don't think even my closest friends understand my inner darkness. I mean, it's not like some fantasy shit here. It's not some, you know. it's just something that comes out with deeper conversations and all that stuff. So, like for me, um, metal has the kind of empowering thing. Like when I'm going to the gym, I need to be empowered. I want to feel strong. I want to be confident, and I am. So I don't need that kind of a thing to that charge me up. I feel I'm kind of American. Maybe if I lived in I don't know, Los Angeles, maybe I would like do glam metal. Maybe I would do hard rock like Metal Crew. But my point here is there's this darker aspect in my mind, and that's what I want to write about. Like when I do lyrics for my bands, um, I go into their darker locker rooms in my head, and they're not open for everybody. They're not open for anybody really. They're my own personal demons and personal spaces I want to touch with. And I think it has a lot to do with the kind of a Nordic mindset, really. So I understand it's not for everybody to, just like to understand that thing. Now, I think Cecilia here makes a great point, though. I'm gonna go back to that, but uh, I'll first reply to your earlier questions. 11 is asking, do I plan to make Impel Nazarene interview someday? Well, first of all, I've been asking Mika Luttinen of Impel Nazarene many, many times over the years that we should do interview because I used to interview him on video in 2016 before Rauta existed, 2017. And for a few years, Mika Luttinen said no, but I met him at Nordic Metal Cruise this year, February, and I called him, and he said yes. I called him again a few weeks ago about that we should do interview with Imbel Nezarine someday because I went to the discography and all, and he's like, I already promised to do an interview with you, so it's all cool. Now it just takes time for me and him to sit down in some place, same city and all. So Imbel Nazarene interview is hopefully happening someday. Yeah, and Rob Hellfire mentioned that Scandinavian punk and crust bands are the best, like Driller Killers, Sheet System, Imbel Nazarene, Dirt Angels. Uh, yeah, these crust and punk bands, like I mentioned earlier today in the stream, the punk bands and the metal bands from Nordic countries, we are linked. You know, it's not like metal bands here, punk bands there, but it's more like punk bands here, metal bands here. We are connected. Back in the '90s, black metal bands and punk bands could have share the same bar, and we would be all about the anti-establishment and all. Anyway, Cecilia Taylor was asking like, explain Tampa, Florida. Now, Florida scene is obviously not that dark. I mean, not exactly known for the black metal. But there is something very peculiar about the Tampa or Florida scene because you have Obituary, you have D Side, Morbid Angel, Death. It's curious, if you really think about it, that this one place of all American place seems to be this hub of American death metal. What makes it so curious is like that's fucking moist and hot as far as I can tell. But it's also, Florida used to be more or less the kind of a hub for cocaine industry and all. So it's kind of curious. This one state with all the fucking swamps, the crocodiles, and the criminal activity around drugs suddenly made the whole death metal thing go bloom. Then in the end, we have to understand it's the few amount of people, handful of people making the music, which is exactly the same that it happens in so many places in Norway, Sweden, Finland. Handful of people making most of the things going bloom. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird that of all places in the United States of America, Florida, of all the fucking states, became the core of American death metal in so many ways, and so great bands came out from Florida. I don't know what's were in the tap water, but maybe more sound, a studio as the legend and all that stuff, kind of made people gravitate again. I mean, for example, um, Cannibal Corpse were not originally from Florida, but somehow they gravitated to Florida, and you know, rest of rest we know is history. You know, the biggest death metal band of all times. So it's weird. Yeah, Rob Hellfire. I don't, pretend to know LA, but everybody knows that LA is the city with the beaches, the Hollywood scene, and all that stuff. I mean, maybe it's full of drugs and criminals and shit, but in our world, from Europeans, at least you have the big business. So there's that. Oh yeah, Swiss Aeon is mentioned this about this cool thing, that tell people about the thumbnail vote in the Discord. Um, yeah, Chris, my thumbnail man, got this great idea that you can now vote for different kind of thumbnails on Rauta's Discord, which means you can actually vote which version of a thumbnail is coming to certain video, maybe once in a week. Because Chris is overly active and he has his head full of great ideas, which versions of thumbnails he could use for these given videos. And we're now planning one certain Finnish black metal retrospective videos. And you could basically vote which version of the thumbnails you could have in that video. There are different versions of certain werewolf character portrayed. So if you want to, I don't know, interact and take part of choosing a given thumbnail for this upcoming video, you can do and vote on Rauta's Discord. So give it a go. I think it's a great idea by Chris. So thanks, Chris, for mentioning that. And thank you, Brian Mons. It's happy that at least someone is enjoying my rumbles here because that's what I am. I don't know. Yeah, I heard Nerdy is asking if I'm happy with Ad Hominem playing at Steelfest. I'm not really a fan of the band, but I mean, it's good to see them alive. At least it's one of those names that is gonna be too sketchy for some other fests. So why the fuck not? Yeah, Rob, that the darkness is something that is kind of hard to explain to certain people who don't understand it. And I also feel it's like I don't need to explain that inner darkness to people, in the scene or outside the scene. I mean, why the fuck would I need to explain everything I need to do and all that stuff? Because it's just what I do. I've been writing lyrics about these topics for so long. Some of my favorite lyrics about this kind of inner darkness that kind of haunt me, I've done with Annihilatus, my other band, and those lyrics kind of explain what's going on, and yet at the same time it's a bit vague, you know, because it's really something that you don't necessarily want to have the dialogue with. I'm not talking about schizophrenia here. I'm not talking about depression and shit, but I'm talking about the certain kind of a darkness which is there, because of your imagination, because of that you have some fucked up thoughts. And I think a lot of people have those fucked up thoughts, but they might be too scared to talk about it. It's almost like, sexual fetish things, you might have them, but you don't necessarily have a spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, to talk to them about. Like, hey, I want to do this and that, and there's nobody to hear about it. It's almost like a taboo. Say, for example, maybe you had this crazy dream that you're thinking about how it would feel to kill a person, or how it would feel to put a fucking dildo up in your ass. These might be the topics you don't want to have a dialogue, around the dinner table with your mom, with your brothers and sisters, with your kids. That doesn't mean these things are still out of your head. They're still haunting you. So in essence, you're still dealing with the fucking situation. They're still haunting in your brain. They're the kind of demons that, you know, they relentlessly go inside your brain, whispering you some weird fucking ideas. I'm not talking about, once again, schizophrenia. These are just metaphorically speaking. But I'm talking about these things. They might be in your head, and you kind of want to talk to somebody about them. But then you realize, if you were just gonna talk to whoever about them, that person is gonna like write you a check into fucking mental asylum. And just because you have some crazy ideas doesn't mean you have to be a crazy person. Because when you think about certain crazy things, doesn't mean you're gonna do them. I'm talking about, say, for example, if you read certain Cannibal Corpse lyrics, you don't automatically assume, okay, these guys are serial killers. These are the people who gonna kill, torture, and rape, people in their lives just because they make these lyrics. It's fantasy. The same thing with the Harry Potter, you know, author. It doesn't mean that this J.K. Rowling is gonna, buy a fucking broom and become a fucking witch or wizard just because, she writes about this stuff. I'm saying we people have weird fucking thoughts. We have weird fucking ideas. Some of us are gonna write a poem. Some of us are gonna blog about it. Some of us are gonna write a book about it. Some of us are gonna make a song about it. And I guess most of us are just like, fuck you, I'm not saying a word because I don't want to be judged a crazy person just because my brain is hardwired, you know, in a weird fucking fashion. I think there's a lots of frustration in the world because we are not ready to talk about what goes in our mind to people who know us, because we feel that we are afraid to be judged. We feel that if our crazy thoughts are brought into the daylight, a lot of people are gonna judge us. A lot of people are like, okay, fuck you, you're a crazy person, I'm not gonna ever talk to you ever again. um I'm losing people on the stream. I'm seeing the numbers. Like, people are like, okay, he's a crazy person, I'm gonna fuck out of this stream. Oh, just joking. But I mean, it's happening. I'm gonna give you a good example though. Back in the mid 90s, I met this good looking girl. She was really, I felt out of my league. She was way too beautiful for me. Anyway, maybe I was cute in her eyes. I don't know. I was just this metalhead. And this girl comes to talk to me. We ride the same bus and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck, she's way too hot, way too beautiful for me. But she comes to talk to me, and I got her phone number, and I'm like, fuck, I'm winning in a fucking lottery. I'm not that good looking of a guy, but this girl is like fucking amazing. And we end up talking on phone, and I'm like, fuck, I'm into this girl. She's fun and she's fine. She's beautiful and gorgeous and all. And she's like, okay, so what are your hobbies? And I'm like, oh yeah, I like to listen to a lot of music. I like metal music, blah blah blah. I read comic books, blah blah blah. She's like, okay, cool. And when I explain, I'm playing role playing games. Suddenly, the tone kind of changes. Yeah, I gotta go by, and basically, it's a simplified version. But the point here is, basically, what happened is like I would never hear from her again. So suddenly, me listening to music, what was like, yeah, it's about serial killers. Yeah, it's about Satan worshipping. Fine. I read about comic books. Superheroes? Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. I'm also playing role playing games. What? Role playing games. You mean elves and dwarfs and shit and wizards? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I play with those games with my friends. Boop, 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 boop. What the fuck? She hung up. My point here is that went like out of her, like, what the fuck? This guy must be a crazy guy. She plays fucking role playing games. I learned my lesson that day. This was probably 1995. I learned my lesson. There are certain things you don't mention to the gals you're interested in. So, if you're into very, very fucking sketchy bands, maybe don't mention it. If you're having weird fucking hobbies, don't mention it. Just go overly vague. My point here is, and certain things might just like trigger certain people. They're like, "What the fuck? You're a crazy person because you listen to this or that kind of music. You listen or read or this or read these kind of books, or you have weird kind of friends." So sometimes it's just best that you keep those certain dark things or weird things in your head. Don't share it until you're actually like cool to trust this person. Weird story. Anyway, one album to go with when I'm done with this beer. Um, Yokon Son is asking me, what do I think about the early British death metal grind scene? Some great bands like Unseen Terror, Carcass, Ball Thrower. I think the early British scene was really, really fucking violent, pioneer like, and really important. Like when the punk and grind and death metal was like married to one another. I think some good stuff that made. I'm not a big fan of like early Carcass or very very early Napalm Death, but I think they made really really important. They took the important steps. I love Bull Thrower from the very debut album to the last album. One of the best bands ever. And I think that the bands like Napalm Death and Carcass, I mean, they made exceptionally important steps back in the days for not just UK scene but in general. I think they were like the real pioneers. Black metal was just like somewhere in the horizon, not happening for many many years. But these guys already back in the early 80s, they were taking the important steps, and towards the late 80s, you know important albums started showing up, demos and what have you. Napalm Death was like going on, Carcass, Pole Thrower, bands like Benediction, you're like shaping up. So yeah, I think the British scene is very very fucking important in an extreme metal scene. And I gotta say, I wish I had been there, because when I found about those bands like early 90s, I was like, wow, these are really important bands, and they had the important message. Like early 90s, barely I even knew about Napalm Death, and I was like, fuck, they had this good statement like Nazi punks, fuck off. I want to have their shirt just because they're making this point. I never got to have a Napalm Death shirt, but I love the message. And later on, I learned it was a cover song. All the same, I found that it was really important back in the days. Later on, I became more nihilistic, not to give a fuck about left wing or right wing, but early 90s when I was my way getting into the world of extreme metal. I found this very very fascinating. I still have high respect for bands like Napalm Death, both or Carcass, and the others coming from the scene. I gotta say, Unseen Terror, I only know by name, never got to know that band, but yeah, I find the British scene very very important. Polito Man, I have X account, but I don't really use it. And to be honest, I'm way too busy with my review albums, and I don't even really care about RAC. It's not just the kind of stuff that it inspires me, really. So yeah. And talking about dark music, while we are at it, there's a reason why I've always loved like dark soundtrack music, why I got into dark ambient and all. And I think still dark ambient is way darker than any metal ever done. At the same time, I am very very confident to talk about bands like Depeche Mode, dark pop music, which I find equally dark than a lot of the dark, metal tracks made in the world. So yeah, I'm a sucker for that. Dark music that just sparks just something inside me, pushes the right buttons. And especially when I'm getting a little bit tipsy, right? I'm here. Sometimes I can go for very uplifting music as well, and especially when there are songs like which are like dark but not necessarily negative, you know. And I'm like, fuck, I love this song. Like, think about the certain songs in the pop music, like fuck, I'm forgetting it. I have to type it. Uh, the Phil Collins song, yeah, "In the Air Tonight." That, for example, is a very very dark song in my head, and I fucking love it. Then there's like songs like um, what the fuck is that song? I'm thinking about it. Boys of Summer, it's not really like a dark, but it's kind of a melancholic. So I have a soft spot for that. Do I always mention that, when I'm doing Rauta? No. Because, like I told you about just a few minutes ago, sometimes you just don't mention certain things to a certain audience because you feel like they're not going to understand it. So there's that. All right. Yeah, Morrisound became the enemy of some Norwegians in the 90s. I remember that Night Spirit and I find it kind of funny. All right, I'm gonna read some of the comments in the back scroll. So give me a few minutes to go through. Simon Greenwood is asking, have I seen any teenagers slash young people at black metal shows in Finland? Yes, I have. And I think there is a new generation of young people at festivals, but not too many. I think it's still mostly people in their 30s or 40s. Rob Hellfire is mentioning, Rob Hellfire, please don't tag me Jerry, but tag me Rauta. I have heard Plaga. Yes, Rob Hellfire. The Discord link is in all my videos. Like, Jokonson mentioned. Night Spirit, for what Dead Spell Omega record, I recommend the first time listener, the first two ones. The one in the background, for example, I think the early Dead Spell Omega is way better than the later Dissonant style. Terve, Rytkösen Jussi. Cecily Taylor, what holy crap, Jerry? What's up? Hello, MG Blast. Guy Ignonito is asking if I have kids. Um, yes, we have one kid, 10 years old, and that's pretty much of it. Yeah, I'm D&D nerd. Brian Mons, I wouldn't be surprised if Vikernes played WoW. Rob Hellfire, yeah, you mentioned why Oculus is so great. It's like marrying dark ambient to black metal. Lucas, I was happy to see Terrorizer play live in August. You know, playing World Downfall and all that stuff. Good stuff, indeed. Early Xisma, yeah, I remember they playing live often in my home city. 11 is asking, do I think DSBM can be harmful? Um, well, people who want to harm harmful music, they don't need black metal for that. They can get just emo music for that. If you want to cut yourself, you don't need black metal for that. All you need is a fucking baby metal. All you need is some emo core. So, no. Of course, you can say black metal is a catalyst to that. But then again, I don't really think black metal is the one that triggers them. Northbound, you mentioned that thoughts are there an essential part who you are. Um, yeah, there are things that you don't need to put into practice, indeed. Hello, gamerworld.net. Greetings from Seattle. I wish I have been in Seattle. We're really cool to just, visit Seattle. I have my grunge background. I'm not going to deny it. So there is that. Rob Hellfire again. Please tag me Rauta, not Jerry, and I will see it highlighted. Jokonson, if you don't mind me asking, how old roughly you are? Yeah, Rob Hellfire, Boys of Summer is fucking great song. It's a very, very melancholic song. Urri Murray has been seeing Prestige. Nice. Oh, Jokonson, that explains 2020. Well, that's good that you go to shows and you take part of festivals and all. Very, very good. I'm as old as I could be your father in terms of age. I really find it very, very important that people of your age, 20 or so, um, you know, are going to shows and going to festivals and buying records because you are going to be the generation that when my generation is dead, you're going to be the one that are bearing torches. So it's very important that you guys, you know, do your thing. No, Marcos, I wouldn't call dark. Burzum has never been dark ambient. Burzum style is more dancing synth, which is way more synthy, way less dark. Dark ambient is like, let me put it this way: if you consider Burzum dark ambient, it's like you would say Dimmu Borgir is the heaviest band on earth. Dark ambient is way heavier, way more marginal, way harder to listen to and approach to than Burzum's Dungeons and album. Bardo exists. Yeah, I would consider that dark ambient album, but even that is not like not even closest to darkest of albums I'm talking about. But at least that's more in the same genre. All right, Dukes is asking, talking about favorite black metal scenes in terms of music. Well, I'm not gonna deny I'm a big fan of Norwegian black metal because a lot of the black metal bands I fell in love with back in the '90s came from Norway. I'm talking about bands like Dark Throne or Mayhem's the Mysteries from Satanas era. I'm talking about the early Enslaved, the Immortal, debut level Emperor, early Satyricon albums. So yeah, for me, Norwegian black metal is the thing. So in terms of sheer numbers of sheer bands coming from black metal department, I would have to say it's indeed Norway. So Norwegian black metal is my favorite when it comes to bands. There's no denying. There's lots of good bands in Sweden, or not good. So many good bands coming from Finland, but Norwegian black metal wins when I'm putting the numbers down. Really. Yeah, Johansson, you mentioned you're 20, so yeah, I noticed it's really good that you're the generation. Word is asking what I think about Sacramentum's return. Well, first of all, I got to see them live when they played in Finland. It was okay. And of course, I hope they are going to make some good music. I have nothing against, bands making a comeback. And I would be a fucking hypocrite if I was, because I made a comeback with my own bands. But I never thought Sacramentum was that of a good band. I mean, it's always been a kind of a B level melodic black metal to me. But it's just my opinion. But I hope they are going to make a good comeback and make a better album. What can I say? Necro Cleaver from New York. Thank you so much for your words, and nice to have some New York love here. I'm a big fan of New York City myself, been there 3 times. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. I really hope I can be back to New York City in the future. I would, in terms of Rauta, I would love nothing more so much as to go to United States. Places like New York City included, to I don't know, go to a fest and clubs and do interviews and all that stuff. Banos from Greece. I gotta say something about Greek people. When uh, whoever it was, Dukes, was asking what's my favorite scene in black metal. In terms of music, I would say Norway. In terms of people, I would say Greece. The Greek people are the nicest people I've ever met. I've met people like from Varatron, from Rotinkreis, Theotheria, uh, Zemial, Kavir, and I gotta say, the Greek people are the best. No other people have shown me such respect, so humble, uh, friendly feeling. I cannot say anything bad about Greek people. Greek people are the best indeed. So sorry for other people in the world, but Greek people have been the most friendly of all. Like once upon a time, my friend in Horna, Ville or Shadraug, he dated a Greek woman, and that woman was just incredibly warm person. I still am friendly with that person, and Greek people. I met Greek people in various countries: Scotland, Norway, Finland, many, many, many places, and Greek people are just the friendliest of them all. So if the world was going to collapse and everything was going to dust, and you get to say one nation, one country only, gun is pointing on my head and like, which country you're gonna save? Greece, no doubt. Not Finland, not Norway, not Sweden, not United States of America. I'm gonna save Greece. Why? The friendliest people, and also the people who invented philosophy. And to quote my one of my favorite all-time TV series, The Wire, they also invented ass fucking. Now let that sink for a bit. That's a quote from the series The Wire. But yeah, Greek people are the best. So reading Panos' comment. Panos, by the way, means it can mean a bullet or a charge in a gun, like kind of like charge your gun. Panos can really mean that. I know it's a Greek name, but just wanted to explain what can it. It can also mean your bet, like you're playing roulette or poker game. Panos can mean your bet in a game. Just wanted to explain the funny things about different languages. Also, Panos is asking if we exclude Berit and Imbel Nezarine and the first era of Finnish extreme metal. Could you tell me, in your opinion, about most important Finnish bands from the 2000s to until today? That's so extensive take because I'm gonna explain it in my Finnish black metal series videos. That it's gonna take a lot of episodes to explain it truly. But to mention some of the few bands from the early days, from Finnish black metal bands, which are the most important, I would say, of course, we have Horna, we have Satanic Warmaster, we have Behexen, we have Clandestine Blaze, and I would say those are probably the most important ones. Whether we're talking about the best ones, according to my open opinion, is different. And Sargeist. But I would say those bands are probably the most meaningful. Satanic Warmaster, for example, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's very good quality in terms of music. Probably my favorite Finnish black metal band of all times. Also highly popular. Clandestine Blaze, because of being so relentless and so raw and so violent, so much more extreme than a lot of other Finnish black metal bands. Behexen for always being melodic, satanic, straightforward. Horna for being the pioneer, one of the pioneer bands in Finland. And of course, Baratrum for that similar reason, but also their own style. And I guess Sargeist being the spin off of Horna and Behexen at the time, later on off without Behexen guys. But I think those bands are the most important ones you need to know from Finland, apart from Beherit, Archcode, and Imbel Nazarene, which were the pioneer ones. I hope that explains what I'm talking about. But I'm really making the Finnish Finnish black metal pioneer series, two episodes out and third one in the making, so I can explain more thoroughly my thoughts about Finnish black metal bands with that given series. I hope that you find it more fascinating. Yeah, of course, Cecilia Turtle back in the 90s, I mean 60s, 70s, the bands had dark edge, and even before that, but I cannot say I'm too familiar with bands from the 60s and 70s. And there's so many ways for bands to, discuss the darkness within. Marco 616, talking about some of the best dark ambient albums or bands for that matter. I would say Lustmord, Inade, um, Yenpox and Sleep Research Facility. They would be probably my go-to names, and of course, Lull from previous Napalm Death artist Mick Harris. They're really, really fucking dark. Audio Brand Mons, glad you spent here with me. Have a good night in Canada. I hope it's not going to be too cold too quickly. Dukes is asking me my thoughts of Legion of Doom. Sorry, I don't really know that band. Nar Mataron. I'm looking forward to see Nar Mataron play in Finland. Um, I know they got some shit because one of their members is a neo-Nazi. Personally, I don't judge a band based on one member only. I personally, I've seen the documentary about the Narmadaran guys being in Norway. I was in touch with one of the Narmadaran guys a few years ago through Rauta, doing actually physical training and all that stuff. And I find them fascinating band. I don't really share the thoughts of Nazism. I don't go for right wing nor left wing, but I find the band fascinating. And I totally agree, Marco 616. Christian black metal does not exist. It's a paradox. Jokonson, that's a really good thing to hear about the Greek guy in your team and you know lifting up your group morale. That's really really good thing to do. Well, Dukes, I wouldn't say Vargrov or Black Beast or Ymir or Azakal are that important in Finnish black metal. Well, Azakal is kind of important, but they never made it that quite good quality. Thigh Serpent, maybe, yeah, but I mean, they basically quit out so long time ago. Cherry Lamp, that is a good question. What are hipsters called in Finland? Like rich hip kids or does that this exist here? Um, I don't know how the hipsters in Finland. I mean, I don't know what their background are, but obviously we have those hipsters here who are like we're not so much in the mainstream. We're gonna do something very unique. We're gonna be something very different, and we have those kids here. And in a way, I find it kind of adorable that they're like they want to be so unique, so snowflake mentality here, and at the same time, it feels like they have the rich parental background. I don't know what their background is, but obviously, it seems like you really can't be a hipster without having some kind of money behind it all, because it kind of shines through that you have the money when you can't be that kind of a hipster. Northbound, yeah, I think Black Beast and Bloodhammer are good bands indeed. Nightside, while it's my own band, I mean, I would like to say we're important. We're not important. We're maybe good, but we're not that important. I mean, we were gone for a long time. And Bloodhammer, I've been touching one of the guys on the since the 90s when we got to know one another. Good band, but not important in the sense. And Black Beast is so much younger. I really wouldn't call them important, but it's a good band for sure. Jerry Roland, Judas Iscariot is actually one of my favorite USBM bands of all time. Maybe the most important USBM band of all time. That and Abzu, anyway. And Marcos, if you ever need for more recommendation about dark ambient, I'll be glad to share you about any of the ideas I got. I wanted to kind of do more dark ambient reviews, and of course, when I'm doing my collection of albums throughout the year, I hope going through my CD collection letter by letter. I've done only A, B, and C so far. I hope to bring you more ambient albums along the way. Now I'm doing letter D, and I think I have something there to include with the metal albums as well. You know, funny thing, Potato Man. What I heard about Absurdity is that I was told that the Möbus guy from Absurd was actually leaking information to the police about his contacts and getting some black metal labels into problems because leaking information to officials. So interesting take. Oh, Rob Hellfire, I will give you some names. Like I said, Rob, please tag my name when you need to reach me. Tag like this. Um, I'm thinking of names. Let's start with these. Rob Hellfire, I'm not sure what you mean by lol, you rock Jerry. I don't know where you're referring to, but let me know what you're talking about. Yeah, Jerry Lamb, it's easier to be pretentious if you don't have a work. You know, it's easier to say, like, hey, I can be whatever I want when you have the money given by your parents and all. So there's that. Yeah, Profanatica is an important band from, of course, from USPM, but I'll be honest with you, I never was that much of a fan of Profanatica. Musically, not that great. In a ways, when I'm thinking about Profanatica and Havohe, being guys nude, blooded up, and all, yeah, cool. Much like early Vaughn was cool with their stuff. But when I'm strictly thinking about which albums I want to listen to, there are no bands even near of Judas Iscariot and Absu. But there are some cool bands in the United States, of course. For example, I'm definitely looking forward to see Demoncy when they're gonna play at Steelfest 2025. Um, Lex Pilgrim is asking if I know Unlord. Can't say I remember. That name doesn't ring a bell. I'll be honest with you. Krieg used to be a good USBM band, but they also did some really mediocre stuff. I mean, I have, for example, Krieg's Black Lodge shirt. For example, Nachtmuseum did there some good stuff. But then again, later on with the fucking heroin addiction and whatnot, Nachtmuseum went into shit. So I don't know. Not all the bands can be so how to say consistent, like Cannibal Corpse. Think about Marduk. Marduk might not be the best band from Sweden, but they kind of never fall away from their style. Cannibal Corpse is like that. Or, bands like Arcanum from Sweden. But, Krieg made some really mediocre stuff along the way. Dukes, I'm not that familiar with Deinonychus or Sid Gorgor. I mean, I have heard from Deinonychus somewhere along the way, but I don't pretend to know. I really know themselves. Rutger Jussi, no, I'm not bored. I'm more like a little bit drunk and tipsy and a little bit tired because it's almost like 2 a.m. Yeah, Rob Hellfire. I mean, the hipsters. The funny thing with hipsters is that you know you kind of want to be so badly unique, snowflake, underground, and beyond. Like I was listening to vinyl before everybody else was listening to vinyl, and then they're like, yeah, only because your dad were buying you get those. I was driving Porsche because before Porsche was cool. Yeah, because no other people can buy you fucking Porsche. So yeah, like I think hipster people are kind of pretentious. Northbound. The topic you're asking me. Do I have some aspects which define music as black metal? Funny thing, I was actually well, a few days ago. I was going through some of my notes, which have been here on Rauta channels. Um, sheet of ideas for opinion videos for years, and I bumped into this old idea of on the list, which was like, can you define black metal for ordinary people, like those who are new to the whole black metal thing, what it is? And yesterday, or was it the day before, I was actually thinking like maybe I should actually make a video about black metal, like what is black metal for dummies, how you would define black metal. And yesterday, sorry, actually today, I was when I was driving to do some groceries, I was thinking like maybe I should ask a few, prominent black metal musicians how would they define black metal, because obviously it might be a little bit different from mine. And then I scrapped the whole idea because I figured out, first of all, most of them are like, no, I don't have the time to explain what it is, or you already know what it is, so why are you asking me, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be the elitist prick here in the building, but I guess I'm too old. I'm old enough for to explain what, in my opinion, black metal is. And of course, throughout the years, throughout the decades, my opinion how black metal is has a little bit defined. Maybe I will do it into a video, but my point here is, for me, black metal really, really defines like some kind of a darker end of music, which is of course metallic in the first place. I mean, it's called black metal, not black pop. And when being metal, what really defines black metal? For example, when I was listening to Ayattara's fifth album today, I mean, there's barely nothing, indicating black metal except the vocals. The riffs are more or less Suomi metal, Finnish metal, and or death metal to begin with, and only the vocals are really being black metal. Then I remember encountering these talks about like black metal is just about ideology first, And I remember back in the days, I'm kind of like signing up for that. I kind of agree, but also like not really, because in my opinion, black metal is still first and foremost a musical style, but it's also married to this kind of ideological take. For example, I wouldn't call Christian metal to be black metal just because you add some Christian values to it and some raspy vocals and all that stuff. And then I was like, so what really is black metal to me, in my opinion? And I'm like, there has to be certain kind of darkness, grimness, sinister feeling. Uh, and in the end, it kind of ends up, you know, revolving around certain keywords, buzzwords, if you will. And I would say black metal is in the end, it's about the darkness, it's the grimness, it's the coldness, it's about sounding evil, vile, uh, something not that likable to begin with. And I'm not gonna say it has to be like that for every each individual right there. But for me, if it doesn't sound evil, darkness, cold, grim, it's most not likely not gonna be black metal, even if you add raspy vocals to it. So, for instance, you take some uplifting hard rock and you start mentioning occult lyrics or certain aspects of anti-religiousness and all that stuff. No, it's not gonna be black metal. Also, if you go and include all the grim stuff, evil sounding stuff, and blah blah blah, and he starts singing about, God of light, how Christ is gonna save us, and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna call it fake shit. Much like an non-alcoholic beer. You can call it beer, but if it doesn't get me drunk eventually, can we really call it, beer? Technically speaking, I don't give a fuck about technicalities. I find it just like faking to be, It's almost like you go to see this good-looking woman in a bar, and you're like, man, I wanna hit on that girl. I wanna kiss that woman. I want to make babies with that woman. And when she flings out a dick, and you're like, yeah, but you're not a woman. You might look good, you might look like a woman, but when you swing out a dick, you're not a woman. My point here is black metal is like that. There are so many ways you can fake it. But in the end, if you fake it and you cannot make it, it's not black metal. Yeah, call me an elitist prick, call me an asshole, call me whatever you want. I don't give a fuck because I'm too cool for that shit. But I'm saying there are no too strict ways to describe black metal. You know, not sounding like black metal. But there are certain limits which you don't just do. I mean, uh, it's almost like as simplistic. As long as you don't lie, you're telling the truth, right? But once you start lying, you're not really doing the truth anymore. And in my books, black metal has to be truthful. It has to be genuine. It has to be authentic. So if you cannot be authentic, it's not black metal anymore. It's just a fake. It's like a fake version of it. Think about driving a Ferrari. You can make the sound of a Ferrari. You can take photos of Ferrari without having the engine in. But if you don't have the engine, if you don't have the design, if you don't have the manufacturer's brand, it's not gonna be a Ferrari. You can fake it until you make it, but eventually you will get caught. And I think that's my final take on it. So you can be a fake. You can fake to be a woman, but if you're not, you cannot get caught, and that's pretty much of it. So there is that. All right, reading your comments, and then I will do the giveaway. Old Homer is saying that first bands that wear hoods and try to do rituals on stage kind of a cringe. Well, first of all, I would say bands that call themselves doing rituals instead of gigs sounds like bullshit to me. I don't find problem with hoods and robes. I've done it myself, but let's be honest about it. Gigs are gigs, not fucking rituals. And yeah, Demonzy would be cool with stuff. Rutgers is asking what I'm drinking. Um, at the moment, I'm drinking Masis Brewery's West Coast Road Trip India Pale Ale. And since I'm pretty much done of it, I will do the giveaway and give the get the last giveaway done. Gamer Word is asking what kind of speakers do I use. These are some Yamo ones. I don't remember the model. I have had them for years and years. Dukes, I recently did the Black Crucifixion discography run, so my take on that is already on the channel. Well, Dukes, that's exactly my point. If black metal doesn't sound evil, vicious, dark, I don't really know why would it be called black metal to begin with. My three records on To Desert Island: Battery, Hammerhard, um, Slayer's Raining Blood, and Death's Symbolic. Jesus Christ can fuck off. Oh, Nicky Gear, there's so many black metal albums or bands I used to like, but I don't any like anymore. That's quite an extensive list. All right, let's do one more giveaway. All right, this needs to be taken a look. Okay, so I have this list of reviews and interviews I've made so far on Rauta. The number is not strict, so whoever comes closest will win the giveaway CD here, which is, by the way, now I'm going to show you the Tomb Mold CD. But I have this count for reviews I've done, interviews I've done, which includes the videos on Rauta's interview section. However, the interview section also includes the shorts videos, which are teasers to the actual interviews on the channel. Now, my question is, according to my list, how many interviews there are on the Rauta channel at the moment, since there are no interviews in the queue. I'm looking at the certain number, and the correct answer will be accepted if it's within 3 steps range. Does it make sense? How many interviews there are supposed to be on Rauta's interview section at the moment, excluding the short ones? Now you get to. I'm talking about interviews, not reviews, you dudes. We're not talking about 2000s. Interviews, my friends, interviews. So far, Johnson Rocks is the closest. I'm gonna take a piss and I'm gonna take a new beer, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, you jerk offs. The real question is, do you know the band? The last band of the evening. Any of you? Pastry Stout. You know how? What is the band? Any one of you? Do you know the band called Diablo from Finland? All right, I'm gonna browse the list and see what you got here. So Johnson Rocks said originally 231, which was the closest, given that the rest of you guys said something like 2000. Man, this looks good. Check this motherfucker out. This is how a proper black metal beer looks like. Diablo is not exactly a black metal band, but as you can see, this one is a black as fucking night. Even the light coming from my streaming lights is giving the indication this does not shine through. This is proper pastry stout. So what are we reading? Some people are guessing 200. Some are guessing 2000. So far, I'm thinking there's 150. Oh, greetings and salutations is saying like I have only 78 interviews. Come on, more than that. Lucas is saying 3 or 4 interviews. Not even. John Rocks is saying 186. And I think that might be the winner, really, because my list says 188. Yes, I think Johnson Red Rocks was the first one to really, really fucking nail it. So, Johnson Red Rocks 186 is as close you can get because we're pretty much right at that, meaning less than 190, but getting closer to 200 interviews so far. Alex Beltram's wild guess of 206 was very, very, very fucking close to also. So, yeah. Rutgers is asking how many CDs I have. At the moment, I have no idea. I'm guessing 700, give or take, because I'm getting rid of some of my CDs as we speak. And yes, Northbound knows Diablo Kalajoki. Yeah, Diablo beer. So this is indeed Black Swan beer, not Black Swan the band. As you can see already these grease stains from from what do you have. Oh man, this is really good. Dark as fuck. Yeah, Diablo is a band. I'm not a big fan of them, but I mean, I know one of the guys, and they have previously made some really good beer. I mean, their music isn't bad either, but yeah. Andreas Heitzold is asking, there's Hengestar vinyl. Andreas, Hengestar ever sent me CDs. Yep, and the beer is flowing. Just my mind. Yeah, yeah, greetings and salutations. Nobody give a shit about my pouring or having the foam on it. Nobody gives a shit. This is some good stuff. It's good to be tipsy here. The only downside is why I'm doing getting tipsy on a stream 3 hours later. I mean, people, we should be drinking together, not online on stream. But anyway, you mailed some wild guesses on the amounts of um interviews done on Rauta. So almost 200 so far. And when it comes to the reviews, it's 2,000 something. I lost account. And of course, now that we're raising towards 220,000 subscribers, I hope that I get to show you more than that. But this is what John Serra the Rocks won a two mold, the Enduring Spirit CD. John Serra, I have your address, so worry not. This will be sent to you when I'm sending you your monthly CD. And Rutger Jussi was pretty close, but no cigar this time. Oldhammer had 5 years since I had the beer. Oldhammer, when the next time you have a beer, maybe we can have beer, but yeah. Rutger Jussi, I'm less grumpy when I have more beer. That's the thing. Hey, thumbs up, Ginger Rocks. Boom! It's good to be a little bit tipsy and all that stuff. Yeah, Andreas, and if you want to make interview with me someday, just let me know because, as you probably know, I'm going to Norway every now and then, be it Inferno Festival or be it Beyond the Gates. So get in touch if you want to make sure you're gonna do interview with me on Rauta. Oh, Marcus, you're straight edge punk and you're still watching my stream. What's wrong with you? Because I would never imagine nobody would want to watch this stream when, being sober and all. Yep. Of course, the thing here is when I'm doing these streams, I want to drink beer for a couple of reasons. First of all, I like beer. Secondly, it makes you a lot people more tolerable when I have beer, right? I mean, otherwise, if I would be totally sober here, 60 minutes and I would like, fuck you, I'll be gone. Yeah, Rutger, you've been a subscriber for years, so it's nice. Thank you so much. I always remember you write comments in the comment section and all. Yes, Rob Hellfire, this is the kind of a beer you could totally drink with some nice chili. Have there. Hello, Zach. Nice. How are you, Arizona, doing? Uh, I have nothing but good memories of Arizona. How is it is over there? All right, John Jared, now that you asked, very, very good question. What's up next in the channel? The thing here is, this is actually the topic I wanted to talk about today. So, as you people know, Rauta is getting closer to 20,000 subscribers. And there will be small changes to the channel. As we're getting closer to year 2025, not that much is gonna change, but there will be some changes which I want to address right now that we're three hours into the stream, as well as um, talking about the future. First of all, as Rauta has been growing up, getting bigger with the streams and not streams, but in the terms of subscribers and all, the more people have been requesting me, can you review this, can you review that, blah blah blah. No, I don't want to be impolite person and say fuck you, I don't have the time to review your music. Of course I want to review music, of course I want to listen to music, and of course I've been reviewing music, small underground ones to the bigger ones, throughout past 20 plus years now. The thing here is it's harder for me to fit everything in. So, as you people, if you're a long timer with the channel and all, you might have seen what I've been doing lately. That is, past few months, I've been more these smaller bands into the underground trio videos lately. Lately meaning past few months, and that's exactly what I will intend to keep doing in the future as well. Meaning, I will put in the smaller bands, the lesser known bands with not so big fan base and all. I will put them into the underground episodes. Why? Because, to be honest, most of you don't give a fuck. If I review, say, just some random band here, like, hey, this is a new band I want to talk to you about, most of you are gonna like, fuck you, I don't even know the band, I'm gonna skip it, I'm gonna move on, wait for the next video. So from my perspective, and also according to your perspective, it makes no sense that I will make a full review video of a no-name band that nobody right there will follow you. What I've learned from the more, say, popular YouTubers, be it Wyatt X, be it Boris, or be it Farvan, most of you don't give a shit about, reviews. You just want interviews, maybe streams, maybe some random opinion videos like retrospectives, some hot takes here and there, but most of you don't give a shit about reviews, and I get it. You don't need reviews when you can just browse new music endlessly. You either go for Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube for the next recommendation. You don't need people like me to tell you which bands you should be checking out. So, from my perspective, it makes very fucking little sense to talk to you about bands that you don't know. Because what I've seen, what I've learned from the numbers games, and numbers games, unfortunately, is what matters. If I review, say, new Marduk album, if I review, say, new Mgwa album, or Mayhem, or Vatine, or Behemoth, numbers will suddenly go up. Suddenly people are like, hey, is this new Behemoth album worth listening to? I will put my ears and eyes on this new album of Cradle, Field, or Dimmu Borgir, or Behemoth, or Satyricon. If I will review something equally interesting in terms of quality or better, most of you are like, fuck off. I don't have the time to watch your channel and your bald head, your stupid opinions to say about this and that album. I want to know about bands that I already know. So, based on numbers, once again, what I read about you people right there following metal channels, you want to know about bands you already know about. From my perspective, it makes no fucking sense. But if I want to be your humble servant, in a way I want to be, you want to know more about your Iron Maidens and Judas Priests, or sorry, Mayhems, and Mgwas and Marduks and other known bands which are already famed. I mean, you want to know more about the bands you already know rather than the unknown ones. You are not interested to know about the unknown ones. Basically, it goes like this. If I review a Marduk album, say it gets 4,000 views. If I review Clandestine Blaze album, maybe it gets 1,000 views. If I review an unknown band, it gets something like 100 views. You get at what I'm going after is like for every underground black metal or any kind of a metal album I'm going to review. If you don't know it, you don't give a shit. If you know it barely, you're going to like, maybe I will check it out. And if you do know it, if you know it's a big band, you will most certainly like it, or at least check it out. My point here is if I was only going for the numbers, I should keep, I should stop reviewing albums the very minute. I should just like stop sending me CDs, stop sending me vinyl, stop sending me anything at all because nobody wants to hear it from me. I get it. I'm not blaming you guys. I'm just saying how it goes. So, based on the numbers games, if I'm looking at the what the other channels are doing, I should keep grabbing my gears and showing like, hey, if you want to play the next atmospheric black metal bands, you should do this and that riff. But I'm not the channel guy. And if I was only to do interviews, well, you would have quite a few months, quite a few weeks anyway, when nothing more is happening. So once again, I'm not blaming you people out there. I mean, it's you who are here after all, right? I'm merely pointing out that in terms of numbers, some changes are kind of bound to happen for Rauta 2025, which means more bands which are not known will get more Underground Trio episodes. They don't really deserve more than that because most of you people don't give a shit. And when it comes to the other content, well, I'm trying myself, the best of the possibility to bring you interesting content. Then again, I really don't know I can live up to the expectations, and it's gonna be fine. In the end, no drastic changes, nothing major is happening. I hope to bring you more interviews in coming months when me and my cameraman can once again in year 2025 travel a little bit more. My point here is I'm trying to make this channel better than previous years. And that is, of course, thanks to you people here, right there. You have been the genuine followers, you have been the supporters. Some of you have used your money to support the channel, and of course, I want to put my time in the very same place that you put your money. You put your money and time in the interviews. I'm gonna bring you more interviews. So maybe less reviewers, more interviews. That's what I'm trying to do here. Of course, these streams are the one of the best places to let me know about your feedback, what you would like to see, what you would like to hear about. Let me know. And now, before we go, um, I will read your comments once again, and then I will go because I need to put some laundry up, and I need to hit the sack in about 40 minutes. So let's read your comments. Andreas, Beyond the Gates 25 is very much likely. I cannot promise you 100% because I don't know if I will be there or if I have too much job to be done, but let's aim for Beyond the Gates 25. Um, what else? Sorry, because you see, I have no ideas what commercials YouTube is sending your way. I don't see them myself, obviously. Greetings and salutations. Of course, I will bring you reviews of the bands you don't know, but like I said, most people won't know. About movies and books, by the way, I'm always happy, more than happy to talk about the movies and video games and series I go through. I don't know if how many you know, but I watch TV series quite a lot. I also play video games quite often, and I'm more than happy to talk about them as well if you want me to. But I'm not gonna push my reviews or takes on them more than I have to. Yeah, Rob Hellfire, I'm happy that you've been here on the channel as well. Marcos616 is asking best black metal documentaries. Um, Personally, I think the Black Flames of Gehenna is one of the best ones. But then again, I'm biased because I'm in the documentary myself as well. And the Helvete one, which got like 4 episodes out from Norway, definitely up there. Greetings and salutations. Thank you for your feedback about the reviews, and it's good to know that these underground reviews don't go unnoticed because I know most people don't give a shit, and I mean I get it. I mean people want to know more known bands. That's how the human mind kind of works. And the same things goes to Rob Hellfire as well. Like I said, I don't want to complain. I'm not complaining that you people choose what you want to use your time on. It's more than fine. I'm more asking for a kind of a feedback so I can get the channel better for your liking, obviously. Yeah, sorry. not black flames of Gehenna, but eternal flames of Gehenna. Yeah, but eternal flames of Gehenna, even though I'm a very, very small part of that, I think it's maybe the most influential black metal documentary in my opinion. Even though it focuses on in Finland only. Yeah, Treasure, I know the interviews is the big deal, and of course, I hope, like I said, my dream in terms of Rauta is not like to make it my day job, obviously not. But what I hope is to bring you an interview every fucking week. That is something like, in my opinion, a kind of a short time uh, dream because, in my opinion, it's kind of a realistic, really, that if we have enough money to travel that much, we could basically do interview every week. Most of the years we get around maybe, I don't know, 20 interviews per year. So for example, if we go to Inferno Fest, which is like 4 days, we get roughly maybe eight interviews out of the 4 days. And if we put out interview every week, means 8 weeks, right? Now we do Beyond the Gates, which is another 4 days. That's another 8 weeks, right? If we go to Steelfest, which is 3 days, and do two interviews a day, that's another six. Okay. So with Inferno, Beyond the Gates, and Inferno, let's do a very basic mathematics here. It's basically eighth plus eighth, 16 plus 6, right? You get 26. That's roughly half the year with three festivals only. Okay, so good so far. Now that the thing is, with these three festivals, we spend like pretty much our whole budget of the year, which is why I'm always advertising why I am looking forward to you people donating the money. Because if we spend all our money, and Steelfest basically takes nothing out of our money because we don't really spend, like we don't have to spend money on flights. I mean, Steelfest is in Finland, and Beyond the Gates and Inferno is in Norway, relatively cheap. And then we have like Turku Saatanale, which is like 2 days in early March, maybe getting like maybe 3, 4 interviews. So if you get like 30 interviews and two of them are domestic, meaning they're happening in Finland, it means like we got like half the year covered. I mean, a year has like 52 weeks, right? So if you get like 30 interviews a year without spending too much money, except like two festivals a year for flights and hotels, we're pretty cool to go. But going from that 30 to around 52 a year still needs more money. And of course, I was disappointed that this year I was hoping to make, say, about 4 interviews at like Helsinki Metal Festival, which I hoped we would get like Terrorizer and some other bands, a bath, and nothing would happen. All the interviews would kind of like canceled, which I had agreed. So, of course, all these are bumps on the road, which I really can't anticipate because they happen, when things are too, how to say, close to change. Meaning, I'm like, hey, the festival is happening like 1 week, 2 weeks away. And I have some like interviews done, all settled. And then, boom, nothing happens. For example, in 2 weeks, on 15th of November, I have like a couple of interviews agreed to be taking place. But what I learned from the Goat Moon interview a few years ago when I promised that this would happen, because a lot of people were like, yeah, you already got that with Black Goat down, and they wouldn't happen. It's like, I don't want to promise you interviews I cannot deliver because the bands themselves might cancel themselves. So my point here is, if I get like that 8 out of Inferno, which is optimistic, another 8 from Beyond the Gates, another optimistic. Going for 2 per day is optimistic because it doesn't always happen like that. But that's what I aim for. And then I hope for another 6 for Steelfest. Once again, 2 per day. And you're like, okay, 8 plus 8, yeah, 16. And then 6 from Steelfest. You're like, okay, that's, 22. A few from Turku Saatanalle, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, still, these 4 events barely go for the 26, about half the year for a year. Meaning, like I said, I want to go for that 52 per year. Like every week would be a new interview. And that would be the dream I am going for. But we are still away from that. And meanwhile, I would say go for the other channels. Go for the far ones or YDX or Boris T or whatever, which might not offer you the interviews, but maybe you will go for into the necrosphere. Maybe you will go for the Trivax guys channel because they might do the trick for you. I wish I can deliver. I am unable because it's for the money, it's the time, and blah blah blah. But like I said, year 2025 looking good. All right. The final questions of the hour because I'm running out of beer and I'm running out of energy. So let's do it. Oh yeah, Lex Pilgrim was asking, do my job give me a choice of which country live in for a few months? Yeah, basically, I could do my job remotely, but of course, with the family and all, it's not that easy. If it was only based on my work, I could basically just go whatever country and live by. But then again, you have the living expenses here in my home country and the other country. So money wise makes no fucking sense. Greetings and salutations. I'm happy to hear that you found the Circle of Dawn because of Rauta. That is very, very nice to hear. If you ever meet the guys, please tell them my salutations. Tell them my regards that Rauta was there to find that to be a tool for them to find out about. Um, yes, Marcus. Actually, I have Elden Ring unfinished. It's on my Xbox. I played Bloodborne until third boss, but then I gave up. I mean, I kind of like Dark Souls or Soulsborne series a lot. I mean, I really like what they're doing with the games. They have such a unique, dark, I would call them very, very black metal in the sense of the whole gaming world. And I think a lot of people who are in the black metal scene should really check out the games like Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Elden Source. Sekiro might be too Japanese for them, but I really think that people should check out those games. No, Marcos, no need to be ashamed. I mean, when you're talking about Irish code, whatever, it can take time, really. So no worries about that. And better late than never, really. Zach, I haven't got into the Silent Hill 2 remake. I have too much of a backlog with the games, but I'm really looking forward to it. Well, Gyrolam, thank you. I try not to be as annoying as possible. And then again, I also want to emphasize I'm not doing this for money. Money is mandatory evil. Let's put it this way. Like for my daily videos, I don't need to spend any money to make, these normal reviews or whatever, because it doesn't really cost me anything, right? It's only time. But when we're going to do some interviews, that's where the money is spent, because flight tickets cost, and hotels cost. So that's the only thing we need to worry about, and that's what I'm putting my money on it. Really. So the advertising money we get from YouTube, that's put into the flight tickets and accommodation. Same thing for Patreon supporters, like, and or also random donations, like today, General Rocks and Sadistic Vainamoinen. They put some money on it, and this money will be used on Rauta's travels. So that's basically how it happens. Cecilia Taylor, I thought we are gonna have a date tonight or later on. I'm still waiting for the flight tickets you're gonna send me. Muy good Rodo is asking three best melodic black metal bands who are still active. Well, I hope Dawn is still active, or more like now active. Dissection is now, of course, out of the game, so we cannot really lean towards them. Mörgruning is nowadays active, and they are melodic, so I guess that would get my vote for, but what third one would get my what my word? Well, I guess Sielun Vihollinen. Sielun Vihollinen is highly melodic black metal act and active. So Sielun Vihollinen, Dawn, and Mörgruning, I guess. Marcus, yeah, I guess this is how the things are. So yeah, Mike the Psyche is still here. Are you drunk yet? Yes, I am tipsy. And the funny thing is, my laundry machine just finished a few minutes ago, which means that by the time I'm ready to just say goodbye to you, stream, means I'm gonna put up some laundry and finish my last beer. Hello, Kyrol. Mike the Psych. Yes, so much I tried to be the trooper in metal. Yeah, Dissection were amazing. Dissection was one of the very few bands that, in my opinion, made the 10 out of 10 albums. So, yeah. All right, guys. I don't know how you made me do it this time, but we did over 3 hours stream. I was thinking about keeping about after 2 hours, but I guess you people made all the interesting questions and all that shit. So, man, I had to be here with you. Now, people, are you ready to make your last questions? Because I think I will be heading out. Heading out meaning doing the laundry. So, final questions, people, because I'm firing up the Kiri series and putting the laundry. Yeah, that's good, Ginger. One thing I can be envious of you is like you meeting the dissection guys back in the days. Oh yeah, and necrophobic is also good. Marcus, that's a good point. They never gave up. But I think necrophobic's problem where they were like a little bit sailing like we're gonna do a little bit more melodic black metal. No, we're gonna do more melodic death metal, and we're gonna sail back and forth. Anyway, guys, are you up for our next stream? Make it up for your calendar. I booked it already for myself. It's gonna be December 7th, right the day after Finnish Independence Day, the 6th. So, guys, off you go. I have 20 minutes to set up the laundry and all that stuff. So, good night, people, and thank you for your support. And people who want some giveaway CDs, I hope you will be getting them soon. So, thank you guys, and see you on the December 7th. I have still more giveaway CDs to be given. So, by the next time, we should have Rauta 20,000 subscribers done. So, if you want to get your chance to win some CDs, make sure you'll be there in a few weeks. So, good night, people, and keep on trucking. No, not keep on trucking. Keep on metal. Stay brutal, stay true. Hail Satan.